6 o'clock. Good morning, live from the Circus Sports in the Mid-Kentucky Downs studio. I'm Justin Hawkins. Tonight, the NFL draft officially begins with round 1 in Pittsburgh. The Titans hold the 4th overall draft pick. You can tune into Titans radio's coverage tonight starting at 6 p.m. right here on 104.5 The Zone. NFL news this morning per ESPN's Mike Reese. Patriots head coach Mike Vrabel will miss day 3 of the NFL draft for the first time in his coaching career as he seeks counseling stemming from the published photos from the New York Post of him and former reporter from The Athletic, Diana Rossini. NBA playoffs last night, the Pistons beat the Magic 98-83, tying the series up at 1 game apiece and ending the longest home losing streak in NBA playoff history, who previously lost their last 11 straight home playoff games. And the Thunder, they take a 2-0 series lead over the Phoenix Suns after they beat 120-107 last night, led by Shai Gilgeous-Alexander at 37 points and 9 assists. The NHL playoffs, the Flyers beat the Penguins 5-2. They take a 3-0 series lead. The Stars beat the Wild 4-3 in overtime as they take a 2-1 series lead. And in the nightcap, the Ducks beat the Oilers 6-4, tying their series up at 1 game apiece. For all your foundation repair and waterproofing needs, you got to go to USSTN.com. Break it easy once on your home for the Titans and Vols. This is 104.5 The Zone.
Good morning, and allow us to be the first to welcome you to Draft Day 2026. The first round is finally here. We have been studying for this test for the better part of 4 months, and today we finally take the exam. 32 teams finally get to take the exam, and we all get to welcome a new member of the Tennessee Titans tonight. Whomst is to say, perhaps 2 members if they trade back. 615-737-1045. Streaming live on 1045 The Zone TV, Facebook Live, YouTube, Twitter, or Twitch. Whole crew here.
Hey.
Ramon Foster, Justin Hawkins, Will Bowling. Today is finally the day. We made it, gentlemen. Good morning.
We did, man. God, we're here. This is Christmas, like spring Christmas, the way I look at it at this point in time. I'm hyped right now, and I ain't even took a sip of the coffee that we got this morning. I brought some Windex to clean my screens here in the studio, my monitor on my regular laptop, because you don't realize how much filth gets on it. I hit a reset and all things important to me, and I feel like the Titans or franchise is in the same boat, and fans will be excited, and they won't have to wait long unless there is a trade.
That's true. A lot of intel, a lot of intrigue, a lot of whispers. Those become yells tonight. Finally, we don't have to speculate anymore.
It was speaking of speculation. One, I'm leaving back last night. I was out at a baseball school out in deep in Franklin. Grace Christian, beautiful campus, by the way, too. One, leaving from Hendersonville, I didn't realize how deep in Franklin it is. But driving out there, phenomenal pieces of land out there that look so beautiful and manicured. But I'm driving back, so I put it on the station, of course. And Jay Glazer's on the Fox Sports radio channel. I don't know who was hosting last night, but I heard Jay Glazer come on, and they did the whole little bit and stuff. So I'm listening to Jay, and you're saying like a bunch of speculation and could be fireworks. And Jay Glazer's really saying something and nothing at all. He's telling the guys, I'm telling you, it's going to be a lot of fireworks tomorrow, and they're begging him doing the radio thing. Come on, give us a hint. What is it going to be? Tell us where it's coming from. I can't say. You just got to watch Fox Sports News during the drive. I'm just like, Jay, don't do this teasing thing, okay? We over 40 at this point, Jay, and I know you're older than me. You probably close to 50s now, okay? Jay, be an adult about this. And then he started asking for hints. Well, are the fireworks going to happen in the first half or the first 16 or the next 16? You just got to watch the show. And I'm like, don't, like, this right here is what will hurt, like, the newsbreakers and, like, the insiders and stuff like that. Like, if you got a little nugget, at least drop a breadcrumb on the ground and keep us going. But he's of the mindset there's going to be fireworks. And then they ask him, well, is it a bunch of trades? And then he goes on to say, well, I don't think there's going to be a bunch of trades. Well, what's the fireworks? Is it a player trade? Is it, somebody in the first round that's not supposed to be there? He also thinks, And daggone near confirms that Ty Simpson will not make it out of the first round as well. You were right on that one. I still don't believe it, but Jay Glazers is like, he's not making it out of the first round.
There's speculation now he doesn't make it out of the top 10.
The who?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I knew that pre-draft discourse had jumped the shark yesterday when I saw a report from Tom Pelissero that Carson Beck could make his way into the back of the first round. That's the point where we should have put Vegas on the clock the second that was put out there. You know what? Do. With the first pick in the 20, like open for business.
Yeah, man.
What are we doing? What are we doing?
Yes, it's exactly the Stone Cold. Like, why are they playing in our faces like this?
The draft week is fun. I like all of the additional drama. I like all the additional stuff because it does feel like a lot of the narratives, a lot of the discussions change this week. I think it's fun. It's literally soap opera for guys, all right? That's what we're doing right now.
Yeah.
Guys below, I don't know what age, 80. But then you get to just the silly stuff. And then it feels like we reached that point yesterday afternoon. So we've got a lot of folks that are starting to double back to original predictions, including Todd McShay yesterday. The Todd McShay Report podcast. Todd McShay writing for The Ringer, covering all things draft, going back to Jeremiah Love for the Titans at 4.
All right. What else do you feel good about? What else do you feel really strongly about?
I'd say the next thing here's what I feel really strongly about.
Okay.
And it seems like, well, it's a big range. It's actually not a big range. The thing that I'm taking away from all of these calls is Jeremiah Love, who a lot of people were saying, well, if he gets to 7, he's not getting to 7. Jeremiah Love, the Notre Dame running back, is going 3, as we just talked about it, the possibility with Bidwell, ownership, and some other people in the building. If not, I think Tennessee's very much back in play. I think a lot of the noise that started to come out was what Sonny Styles, edge rushers. And listen, I know there are people in the building that want edge rusher. And if Jeremiah Love goes 3, I think it could be Sonny Styles there at 4. Okay? So it's not like, not everything is misinformation, but the context of it is hard to get because there are people in the organization that may be talking to other people or people who know somebody saying, well, they like Reese. And they do. There are people who do. And they like, and we all do. And they like Sonny Styles, and they do. And I think they like him more than other teams because of that Fred Warner position.
Facts.
Todd McShay.
He's back
going
at
back
it.
to Jeremiah Love at 4.
He's going back at it.
If he's available. Thank you. What does it all mean?
I'll tell you what it means. It means everything and nothing at the same time.
It means that we finally don't have to keep wondering for much longer is really what it means.
Don't. Do you think with as many voices that we've heard speak about the Titans, just them specifically, I do feel like and lightly heard that like they're torn at this pick.
I don't doubt that.
Yeah. I've lightly heard like they are torn about this pick and how you got to expect like nobody wants to be wrong about this one. You got some real dynamic players at 4, depending on what happens 1 through 3. Even if Reese and Bailey are gone, and we know Mendoza's 1.
Sure.
But if you're left with Bailey or Reese plus Styles and Love is still there as well, like this is probably I thought it was easier last year, you know what I'm saying, with the I thought it was harder last year with the deal that the Giants had presented to the Titans, like, hey, we'll give you a haul for the number 1 overall pick, et cetera, et cetera. Like, that's hard to turn down, at least in my mindset. I know Cam's the obvious selection, made everything this year easier. It did, because the quarterback class wasn't as good as you needed it to be. But to stand on the table for your guy, whether it be Sonny Styles and Jeremiah Love or somebody else, I think those are the 2 that if 1 through 3 is Mendoza, Bailey, and Reese, I'd almost want to trade back. And I feel like they have to at least listen to conversation or calls about people or make calls like, hey, do you want the 4th overall pick to make this pick easier? Not that this job is or should be considered easy.
You're right. Right. I still think it's Bailey available at 4 at this point. I think it's Harville Reese going 2.
reset to now.
I'll play the audio why coming up in about 10 minutes because David Bailey's interview yesterday he did with media in Pittsburgh was interesting to me. But with everything that we know, and Daniel Jeremiah lended his voice to the Titans take Sonny Styles train yesterday, and he has the Titans taking Sonny Styles again with Jeremiah Love on the board, which would really surprise me. Because he has a projected trade with the Saints moving up to 3 with the Cardinals and giving a 2027 first-round pick. If that's the price of what it takes, I expect Arizona to take it.
Yeah.
I tend to believe that's what Arizona's waiting for, saying we want either a second one in this draft to go get our quarterback Ty Simpson, or we want maneuverability next year when there is a better chance at getting that quarterback or getting that number one weapon for Ty Simpson in this draft. The Saints have made 25 draft trades since 2008. They traded up in all 25 of them. So that is the history of New Orleans, being aggressive and moving up in draft day trades and things like that. Gun to your head, who's the pick?
Gun to my head, who's the pick? Jeremiah Love.
You still think it's Love?
Grudgingly, yes, I do. Like I personally would pick Sonny Styles, but I feel like offense wins this one. They have a strong influence. Now, let me correct that. I don't know how strong of an influence Brian Daboll has inside of the room, but Brian Daboll is a former head coach, successful offensive coordinator, and a respected coach in this league. He's got to have a guy. If he doesn't get it right or Jeremiah Love bums out or the offense doesn't improve,
yeah.
I mean, that's a different conversation. That to me is the risk of taking it. I do think if it's based upon it, they probably go Love.
Justin?
Jeremiah Love. Only if David Bailey's not available.
Y'all still think it's Love? I would love to still think it's Love.
You
but
do?
I don't anymore. I don't think the Cardinals are going to be able to find a partner.
Hearing everybody speak about where they think or the intel tells them like Sonny Styles stays at, it's kind of dampened it for me. Like everybody has Sonny Styles fourth. I think the best pick is Sonny, but I'll say this, it's the safer pick is what I would say.
It is definitely the safer pick. It's the safest pick.
Yes.
Overall, going with Sonny Styles.
Is safe is good still though?
I think Love is pretty safe.
That's why I wouldn't do it. I think Love is safe, but again, like look at Ashton Genty. Like Love could be safe later in his rookie contract.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe not right away.
If you are
So are you willing to wait a year for your pick to become more impactful based off of your offensive line getting its act together?
Depends on if you trust the Titans' offensive line more than you would trust the Raiders' offensive line. Tony Pollard has been a 1,000-yard rusher.
I don't know who 40% of the Titans' offensive line is right now.
No.
So it's hard for me to say with any level of confidence that Love is going to step in right away. I know who the Titans' defensive line is. And I know that Sonny Styles is going to be able to have success the second he steps on the football field, playing behind the guys that are playing in front of him. That's the difference for me.
As a retired offensive lineman, it kind of pains me to throw this stat out there, but like the 1,000-yard conversation, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like we calculated, there's only like 67 yards a game. And now it's 17. Like, I'm not devaluing 1,000 yards.
I mean, he's going to have more than just 1,000 if it's Jeremiah Love.
I'm looking
at the Tony Pollard.
The Tony Pollard conversation of it all. Right. Like, the breakaway speed, I've even had people tell me as of recently about, trying to find little minutia detail about Jeremiah Love. Like, his vision isn't the best. He's got great breakaway. If he hits the gap, he's gone. But it's the Notre Dame offensive line conversation. It's the firepower that they have outside on the edges to keep defenses balanced up. They recruit at one of the highest levels. It sounds like Alabama, but my point is this. What I mean is good teams have good players all around them. And he has had a good offensive line with him as well. And on top of that, whatever his vision is through the lens of other folks isn't as clean as they like it to be.
Yeah.
Now, here's what he does possess. If there's an open hole, he can hit a home run.
It's true. Very true. 615-737-1045. These two both think it's Jeremiah Love still. I tend to believe it's David Bailey. But we will see. We'll also hear from David Bailey coming up in a moment. A reporter spoke with him in Pittsburgh, and he had a very interesting slip of the tongue in his answer. You'll hear it coming up next.
It's Ramon Foster for Hiller Plumbing, Heating, Cooling, and Electrical. Letting you know, nobody likes dealing with a plumbing, HVAC, or electrical emergency at all. Those issues, they linger. They're small sometimes, and you feel like you can fix them, but you need experts like Hillers to come over, man. And they're really good at what they do. I've used Hiller numerous times around my home, whether it be small electrical stuff outside. I'm on the HVAC protection prevention program that they have at Hiller as well, where they come out and service you 2 times a year and make sure that everything is running efficiently and as effective as you need it to inside of the house, and that it sounds good and is one of the best things for your home, because nobody likes a hot house in the summer or a cold one in the winter, man. But they're just good. And the price you told is the price that you'll actually pay with no hidden fees or surprises on your bill whatsoever. Hiller, they've been in business for over 35 years and are family owned and operated as well. Their techs, very professional, very experienced, and very trustworthy when they show up to your house. Cool part is, when that tech is on his way, they'll send a photo and a link to track them in real time, so you know exactly where they are. Their motto is, happy you'll bill, the service is free, and they mean it. To learn more about Hiller, simply head over to happyhiller.com.
Live for the 104.5 The Zone Circus Sports Studio. Kentucky's largest sports book can now be found at Circus Sports at Kentucky Downs. It's Ramon and Will. 615-737-1045. If you are still a betting person with the NFL draft, Fernando Mendoza is minus 20,000 to go one. So if you want to bet $20,000 to make 100, there's your chance. Fernando Mendoza to go number one. David Bailey, the odds-on favorite, Ramon to go two, but not nearly as much of a favorite as he used to be. Minus 135. Arvell Reese is plus 105. At number three, to the Arizona Cardinals or to a team they would trade with, Arvell Reese, still the odds-on favorite, plus 165. Jeremiah Love, plus 180. David Bailey, plus 250. Francis Maui Noah, plus 1,200. And the odds-on favorite to be the number 4 overall pick in the NFL draft is still Jeremiah Love, but barely. Plus 130 for Love, plus 165 for Sonny Styles, plus 550 for David Bailey, plus 650 for Arvell Reese.
Man, it's funny you mentioned the Bailey. You said Bailey's a favorite at 2 now?
Yes.
So I was
has been for most of the week.
listening to some weekend radio, and Jeff Schwartz was on. It might have been early in this week, and Jeff Schwartz was on for 2 Pros and a Cup of Joe, and he was just saying, no, this is just dumb. It was Arvell Reese at 2. He was like, everybody's been saying for a while that it's David Bailey. He's like, I'm going to go put some money on David Bailey, and it was like plus 230 or something like that. He's like, we're paying for summer vacation with this one. He was like, it just makes sense that Bailey goes 2. And round, if he got those odds earlier this week, Jeff might actually cash in if the Vegas odds have shifted that far. So it's gone from plus to negative money, right? In the world of betting,
It is minus money now, yep.
plus, if you bet plus, then you're good, right? Or you win more.
Plus money means that it is less likely. Minus money means it is more likely to happen.
Whichever
more
one
likely
it was.
to hit.
It was one of those crazier betting ones. He was like,
Arvell Reese was the favorite to go to for a good while. And then it flipped.
I just heard him say, I'm going to put money on Bailey. So
Okay.
he might end up being right.
Going to be interesting. The Jets hold the cards to decide which edge rusher falls to 3. The Cardinals hold the cards to see if there is a team willing to trade up to 3 to get that edge rusher or take Jeremiah Love. And then the Titans can weigh either of those two, the second edge rusher or Love, against Sonny Styles as its pick.
Let me ask you this. You say you think it's going to be David Bailey?
I say that with no level of confidence whatsoever. But if I'm making a blind guess with everything that we know, that is my hunch, is that David Bailey falls to 4, and that's who the Titans take.
Is that also who you want, if you can have an opinion on?
Jeremiah Love is my first
It's
pick.
your want.
We're about to rank our favorite to least favorite picks out of 5 here.
Yeah.
But first, I want to hear from David Bailey in Pittsburgh. So Nikki Lattarulo at SNY, used to be at Channel 4 here in Nashville, actually, is now at SNY covering the New York sports team. She was in Pittsburgh at the community event that prospects who are in Pittsburgh or in the draft city always do the day before the draft. And David Bailey spoke with reporters. She's asking the questions here, asking about the Jets. Obviously, we know the story that the Jets canceled the top 30 visit with David Bailey. When they ask him about the Jets, he says, I love Monty. Well, Monty is the Cardinals general manager. This was David Bailey speaking yesterday.
What have your interactions been like with the Jets?
It's been good, man. I've talked with Monty on the phone a couple of times. Obviously, they canceled my 30 visits, so I wasn't able to get around the facility and kind of have like an in-depth conversation with all the staff and everything. But no, I had a great interaction with them at the combine, and then obviously like whatever FaceTime calls we've been having. So,
if you were picked to be on the Jets, how do you think you fit in with that team?
I think I fit in great. I mean, I think it'd be a great scheme for me. I'd be open to learning whatever position that they need me to play. I think I'm going to bring a versatile skill set. So, I'm just open to anything.
Interesting.
Monty
Ossenfort.
That's Arizona.
I think he meant to say Muji, who is the Jets general manager.
Darren Muji.
Meanwhile, there is Arvell Reese, who also spoke here. Again, Nikki Lattarulo, who did a great job with all this, clearly. She got the big answers everyone was looking for. Talking with media and saying, yeah, I feel like I'm a great fit with the Jets.
Arvel, a lot of people projecting that you're going to go second overall to the Jets. What have your interactions been like with New York so far?
My interactions with New York been good. I like everybody there. I did a 30 visit there, went well. That's a good organization.
What have your impressions been on Aaron Glenn?
I think Aaron Glenn is real serious about what he want to accomplish and what he want to do with the Jets. When I sat down and talked to him, he broke it down to me and told me, I'm one of those guys he think can fit into that narrative of what he want to do with the Jets. So yeah.
Why do you think you can be the best at your position in the NFL?
I think I play with relentless effort, and I'm violent. And I play fast.
What has this week been like for you? What did you learn about yourself in the pre-draft process so far?
This week right here, it really just started. We got here yesterday, so it ain't really hit me yet. And then pre-draft process just been, just working out, conditioning, staying in shape, just making sure I'm ready for rookie minicamp.
What do you want people to know about you?
I don't know. Whatever they know, I don't know.
He was done then.
He's like, stop asking me questions. I already gave you the answers.
He was so cooked.
There is definitely a contrast between what publicly the Jets want their prospects to feel like connection-wise with them, at least publicly. We're going to find out tonight when they go on the clock at 2 whether or not this is a smokescreen or legit. But publicly, they want it to feel like it's Arvel Reese. There are still people behind the scenes reporting, people like Todd McShay saying they think it's Bailey. Is that just, what are they doing? Why, they very publicly canceled a 30 visit with Bailey. Does that, in your mind, mean they're out on Bailey?
That makes me think they are in more on Bailey. Like, it's one of those smoke screen things. Like, all right, y'all, hey, we like you, and if you're there, we're going to take you. We have the right to take you at 2 if it's Bailey, right? If you've seen it now numerous times with the Senior Bowl and the Combine too. It's a big fraternity. These teams hate each other on game days and throughout the course of battling. But it's a big friendship. And in that friendship, they like to play games as well. These are a bunch of grown men and women and organizations that play these types of games because it is position. They trash talk one another. They crap talk about one another, but they love this. And I think this is the gamesmanship that they're allowed to play this time of the year. We've seen, of course, if you look at, some of the HBO Hard Knock stuff, like the banter that they have. The Jets have been on it, and you see how their front office roll and stuff like that. We've seen Aaron Glenn on the Detroit Lions side of this as well. Like, they play games, and this is just another one of those games. If you tell me, hey, just be quiet, shut up, don't say anything, we're going to cancel your visit, and we're going to take you, I'm going to do exactly just that. And I feel like that's what it is with the David Bailey conversation. It would not shock me moving forward if that's the case. That, to me, was probably the biggest smoke screen that you could see right through is we'll just cancel it, deter everybody else, and we're set on who our pick is. You've seen them. Are they not, like, the friendly banter and communication and interweaving that they have at the Combine, Will? It is a big fraternity.
No, there's no doubt. No doubt about that.
This feels like public hazing right here that they're doing to each other to try to confuse one another. That's the only way I can honestly look at this because, to your point, what's the reason? David Bailey's not good enough for number 2?
Right. Like, it doesn't really feel like they have the need to mislead everyone.
No.
Because they kind of had the first pick of the draft since Fernando Mendoza has been the first pick of the draft, the second the Raiders earned number 1. So it's just odd to me that they would spend so much time and energy to try to mislead us. If anyone doesn't need to mislead anyone, it's the team that's picking first. And for all intents and purposes, they are picking first.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And on top of that, too, this is a team, man, that needs a lot of help off the edge getting after the quarterback.
They do. They need a lot of help. Period.
Like, somebody's got to go find
help from the Lord.
Yes, they do. Like, Quentin Williams is gone. They got to find a replacement on the edge somewhere to go get the job done at that spot right there. And that, to me, is where the games being played are not even funny anymore. It's just like, get to it. And, again, this is, I think, to their own amusement with how they're going about this more than anything.
At Ramon Will on Twitter, you can vote in our poll this morning. Who is your pick at 4? We lumped in Reese and Bailey in the same vote here, considering there's no chance that both of them are available. So One of Reese or Bailey, Jeremiah Love, Sonny Styles, or Carnell Tate is the question. 4 of you have already voted. 4 of you have voted for Jeremiah Love. I'm not surprised at all. Ramon, you have been advocating for Sonny Styles for a while.
Yes.
Why is he still your favorite pick for the Titans with the 4th overall pick?
I think defensively, you have a guy who will end up becoming your defensive captain. I look at the pathway over not just this year or next year, but over the next 4 years. Jeff's going to be older. Heck, Jeff might end up being an Iron Man in this league, but the identity of this squad needs to be passed on to somebody that is led, that has played well, and that's at a field general position like inside linebacker. As devalued as it is, good teams have them. You know the teams that have the good ones. We can call them out right now. Listen to Rob, who's going to come on with us. Rob Ayers is going to come on later and talk about how they speak about Levante.
Levante David from Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
In Tampa.
Yeah.
Like, that to me is where Sonny is. I feel like if you got a quarterback and Cam Ward on one side of the ball as the captain, as the general, the defense somewhat needs that guy as well. I come from a place in Pittsburgh where that position is coveted. The off-ball linebacker becomes the big captain. Even if you got a monstrous defensive line, they communicate with everybody. They understand the scheme up front and back. And I think as much as Sonny Styles has played, it sets that. And again, the matriculation of guys leaving out eventually. You have a young guy who's a high pedigree player at a spot that's necessary for a defense to teach not just his group, but everybody around him where to be, how to line up, and he can make plays. He's good in coverage because he's come down from the 3rd level and play linebacker. He can blitz up front. Some people might be looking for the sack getter. I get that. But he's also a guy that can be a cleaner as well. I'm not going to compare him to Fred Warner because I do think they're 2 different body types, but the role that Fred plays, right? Because the conversation I heard yesterday was, Fred was a 3rd rounder and Dre Greenlaw was a 5th rounder. Fine. The pedigree of this individual right here is elite.
If you'd known Fred was going to be what he ended up being, he would have been a first-round pick.
And the league has corrected that by being all-pro, but I look at it from a team, a pillar setting guy, and not only just that, but his playmaking ability and the attitude that comes with it as well, which is, to me, I think he's Tennessee tough when it comes down to how he plays the game.
Described to NFL scouts in Dane Brugler's Beast as the best leader in the program by the Ohio State coaches. At the NFL Combine, Sonny Styles was taller than Mike Evans, faster than George Pickens, quicker than Patrick Peterson, had a higher vertical than Devontae Adams, had a longer broad jump, meaning more explosive than Derwin James, and was heavier than Trent Cole. That's the kind of person and athlete we're talking about with Sonny Styles, who played safety for 2 seasons, then combined for 182 tackles over his last 2 years at Ohio State at inside linebacker. He only missed 2 tackles the entire year, and he reached 22.69 miles per hour during his 40-yard dash at the NFL Combine. Yeah. The guy brings you versatility to play at the defensive line or drop back in coverage. He makes your defense unpredictable. And we talk so much about the unpredictability of what Jeremiah Love can bring your offense, being someone who can catch the football or run the football on 1st, 2nd, or 3rd down. Sonny Styles makes you that unpredictable on defense. He does. Because when Sonny Styles is playing up at the line of scrimmage, he is athletic enough and long enough, Ramon, to hold up blocks or to get vertical and stop the run. He is also quick enough to then drop back in coverage, disguise what the quarterback thinks he's seeing, and make a play on the football. So that is, I think, the interesting thing on Styles is just the unpredictability and versatility that he brings your defense. Okay. He is still my 4th option.
Understood.
And I say that as someone who just raved about him, and I love him. Love him as a prospect.
I did the same thing to Love the other day.
Jeremiah Love is my number 1 pick because he is a home run hitter. Okay. 49 plays of 10-plus yards, ranked 3rd most in FBS in 2025. Jeremiah Love's 4.5 yards after contact per attempt was 3rd best in FBS in 2025. He is one of just 4 running backs weighing at least 212 pounds to run a 4.36 40 or faster over the last 20 years. He is the first Notre Dame player in more than 30 years with multiple rushing and receiving touchdowns in the same game. He is a home run hitter that can make something out of nothing for your offense. And I see him and Cam Ward being Batman and Robin, but I don't know which one is Batman and which one is Robin on any given day. I think your offense now has someone to fear the second you put Jeremiah Love into your offense. And I think Jeremiah Love makes your offensive line better by getting you more on early downs to put you in third and manageable. And I just go back to what we saw from Cam Ward late last season when the Titans could finally run the ball. And I think about how good Cam Ward could be if he had that for 17 games versus about 6 games. And I saw a quarterback who wasn't forcing things as much. I saw a quarterback who was confident in checking the ball down and not taking as many risks. I saw a quarterback who just felt comfortable within the offense because he finally knew when the bullets were flying that he had help. I think Jeremiah Love is that help for 17 weeks and not just the second half of the season.
No.
That's why Jeremiah Love's my top pick. Let's go to the phones. Sean in Mount Juliet, first up. Good morning, Sean.
Morning, Sean.
Good morning, gentlemen. Question for you.
Yep.
Do you think that there is anything behind not bringing Sonny Styles in for a top 30 visit that we would take him number 4? Is there any risk to that? Thanks.
Thank you, Sean. Sonny Styles was not here for a top 30 visit, according to Sonny Styles yesterday.
Yeah.
What do you make of that?
Same thing I make of with the David Bailey and the Jets situation. Like, they know everything that they're supposed to. I'm sure they met with him at the combine. And the way I see this one is his tape tells a story more than anything. Coaches like to play these games. There's been other players to not have been on 30 visits and get drafted by that team, too.
It does happen. I don't read a ton into it.
I don't either.
They have a lot of touch points with the top prospects. Easton Freeze will join us at 9:20. He's still been consistent that Sonny Styles is not in consideration. I saw our friend Austin Stanley from A to Z Sports tweeted out as well this morning what he feels like the priorities are for the Titans at this point. He says 3 scenarios the Titans are preparing for: Love, edge, trade.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know.
Edge, trade.
We'll see.
By the way, you might want to check the collection plate. Everybody in the chat said you was preaching right there. Okay, well, you was getting flying hearts over the video. You was in there. What is it saying? Will Cook right there. Will drops the mic. Hey, pass collection plate because Will is preaching.
And you guys convinced me originally because I was not a proponent of Jeremiah Love at first. We'll go through our second and third choices when we come back. Your phone calls at 615-737-1045 as we wrap up hour 1 after this.
United Structural System isn't just another repair company. They're your local foundation and waterproofing experts. And I do mean experts, man, because they live here, all right? They work here. They understand exactly how Tennessee soil, the weather, and homes behave. And I do mean that, too. Your house moves because the grounds get wet and move around. Weather affects that as well. And just the homes are living as well. They breathe. They shift on you as well. But I'll tell you this. USS has been serving more than 30,000 homeowners across USS, and they trust USS with the problems that they have, and they know how to read the signs as well. Every crack or leak tells a story, and USS knows what they mean. That could be foundation settlement, basement, water intrusion, crawl space moisture issues, and just no guesswork either. Just expert diagnosing from the people who know Tennessee homes. Their repair solutions are engineered to stand up to our local conditions. They have an A+ rating from the Better Business Bureau with transferable lifetime warranties on the work that they do on your home. So you can just pass that warranty on to the new homeowner after you sell it. So here's your opportunity right now to book your free home inspection by going to USSTN.com. That's USSTN.com and tell them that Ramon sent you.
Ramon Will on 104.5 The Zone. Titans going to go get him a new player tonight.
Yeah.
This song, it takes me back.
It does.
It's kind of sad, though, that all the Tennessee basketball players who danced and made this their song after they won and made the Elite Eight no longer play for Tennessee.
They don't.
So who knows if the new guys will like this or not.
I just like the fact that it lines up with the draft. Let's go get them.
Yeah, sure.
Let's go get them, baby.
So Sonny Styles is your pick. Jeremiah Love is mine. Let's go the opposite direction. I've got 5 options here who are, I think, legitimate options. Although at 5, I think there's a pretty big drop-off. I've got Jeremiah Love, David Bailey, Arvell Reese, Sonny Styles, or Carnell Tate, who I feel like are the best 5 candidates to be the 4th overall pick. Who would be your last choice among those 5, Ramon?
Last choice? Tate, Carnell Tate.
Me too.
Yeah, he's 5 on that list for me.
Would you be upset with that pick, though?
No, I will not be upset.
See, I wouldn't either.
No.
I wouldn't hate it at all, to be quite honest with you. It is my last choice because I do think he has a really high floor and the lowest ceiling of those 5 players. But at the same time, his success rate versus man coverage is the 7th best by any prospect since the 2021 draft, beating some guys who went top 10 and 90th percentile separation metrics overall and against man coverage, 150.5 passer rating when targeted. Yeah. He's got 0 penalties in his entire career.
Yeah.
The problem is he only has 4.5 yards after catch per reception, which was 414th in FBS last year. He is still kind of the profile the Titans are looking for, though, to be fair.
No doubt.
A guy that can get vertical and make contested catches.
Yeah, for sure. And he does that. And here's the thing, too. He catches the ball. I think the conversation around no drop balls either in his career as far as being at Ohio State. You know, one question I do have, and this is, sorry, you guys, this is a pro-Tennessee thing right here. But if he had committed to UT, because it was Ohio State and UT, is the narrative still the same on him? As far as being drafted this high?
It's not.
Perfect. And I get it.
It would be worse.
I get it. Yes.
Because he would have the Josh Heupel skill player tag.
I get it.
Which, fairly or unfairly, still exists until somebody proves it otherwise.
But here's the thing. We're looking at him for his athleticism and what he was able to do. And here's the thing. He never was the number 1 guy there.
That's true.
You know, and I know that's a small conversation piece, but ascending to a number 1 wide receiver, you're picking in the top 5. It's the conversation where you're picking in the top 5.
It is.
But they're only looking at his freaking skill set now, which is crazy.
That's a different red flag, though, than, hey, you only ran hitches and goes.
Yeah.
Or, because any prospect, to be fair, who has 1 main route or 2 main routes and hasn't been asked to run every part of the route tree.
Yeah.
That's a red flag, not just for Tennessee players. That's a red flag for a lot of players.
It is, but also the red flag for me as well is well, of course you're supposed to get open because Jeremiah Love was double teamed at a high rate. You got to go in. Jeremiah Smith. I said Jeremiah Love. Oh my gosh. Might be saying that tomorrow morning at this time.
That's true.
But I'm not dismissing him or, you know what I'm saying? I'm just looking at scenarios and narratives, if that makes sense to you.
I understand your point.
He's still a high caliber athlete and an NFL prospect, a high NFL prospect.
Right. Well, and the challenge just becomes, are you capable of doing things you haven't been asked to do? That's the challenge with navigating the wide receiver part of this, because you have players who haven't been asked to run a lot of in-breaking routes. They only run out routes. That doesn't mean they're incapable of running different routes. It just means they haven't been asked to yet. So when you get them in your building, that's the point of visits. That's the point of the combine. That's the point of
private workouts.
Can you do stuff that your college coach hasn't asked you to do? Maybe the college coach hasn't asked you to do it because they also knew you couldn't do it. Maybe they didn't ask you to do it is because they have a college-centric system that doesn't translate as well to the NFL. And you have someone like Zachariah Branch who has the vast majority of their routes and their deployment in the SEC within 10 yards of the line of scrimmage. Was that because that's all he could do?
Yeah.
Or is that because you had other people who could run the deeper routes? Case-by-case basis. So that's where I think for Tennessee wide receivers it gets challenging. The system asks receivers to have very defined roles, and deep choice is based on the leverage of the defense. I'm either running a post, a go, or a hitch. And those are my 3 routes. That's changed a little bit as Tennessee has evolved its offense outside of just deep choice, but That's the essence of the Art Briles coaching system, is these choice routes, but you only have a couple of different stems off of what you could run in any given play. My second choice at this point, Ramon, is still David Bailey. And David Bailey being the best pure pass rusher, to me, is my plan B, because he is a sprinter out of the blocks and I think complements the interior pass rush that you already have really, really well as a proven commodity. I love Arvell Reese as my third choice. I'd go Styles after that, then Tate after that. I like Reese a lot.
Yeah.
It's splitting hairs for me between him and David Bailey. I just think that, again, as we've talked about, there's still that world where Arvell Reese is a little bit more of a chess piece that you move around and isn't as immediately as impactful as David Bailey could be. And I think the speed of Bailey is really, really fun with Jeffrey Simmons and John Franklin Myers up the middle.
I'll just jump to my third because everybody know
Love
it's
would be your
Love.
Yep.
Yeah, and you've already the one I'm gonna describe is Arvell Reese to me.
That's your third choice?
Yeah, it would be my third choice on this one because just listening to Rand speak about that defense last week on Friday, like he broke down what the role that Arvell Reese can play. Like, yeah, you're drafting him to potentially end up being a edge player, but that Sam position in this Robert Saleh defense can float. He can drop off in coverage. He can play at the line of scrimmage. He can be an eraser when it comes down to defending the run or the pass and have good enough hips and the mindset to play at the second level of the defense comfortably. That is a portion of that conversation I took away from him. That and also the usage of a nickel that is like Nick Imawari is for the Seattle Seahawks. Well, this Sam role also keeps him on the field and becomes a front end weapon for this defense. And I feel like if you can't make him an edge rusher, I'm talking about a gold parachute and just employing him and smart as Robert Saleh is, Will.
That's true.
I trust him to find a role for a guy like this.
I do too. I do too. Yep. For me, the only difference is if I'm drafting somebody that high, I need them to impact the quarterback more. Because I would love Arvell Reese to be that.
No doubt.
But that's the only reason I would. To me, it's almost a 2A, 2B.
Yeah.
In terms of my second choice between those two guys.
No doubt. Who's your third?
My third choice would be the other one.
The other one.
Bailey or Reese. Yeah. 2A, 2B.
And here's the thing.
And then it would be Styles after that.
I almost feel like I'm disrespecting the skill set and just the talent of David Bailey, but I feel like I know what I'm going to get out of him, if that makes sense.
He's a pure pass rusher.
Yeah.
Arvell Reese can give you more. Again, we've talked about it throughout the whole draft process. I think you could make the argument Arvell Reese is the better overall football player. David Bailey is the better overall pass rusher. What do you value more in the top five? Do you want someone who's going to impact the quarterback more, or do you want someone who could be deployed in more ways?
You know, there's a conversation between Will Anderson Jr. with the Texans and like David Bailey. The conversation, like he's a pass rusher.
Yeah, he could be Will Anderson.
But I feel like Will Anderson came out with an aggressiveness towards the run game because of the Nick Saban Alabama era, though, too. And I'm not sure Bailey possesses that just now, and how quickly in year 2 and 3 will he actually pick that up.
Trevor Sikkema is going to join us at 7:20. We'll ask him that. Who's the better fit for Saleh's system, David Bailey or Arvell Reese?
Yeah.
Richard in Springfield up next on the phone. Good morning, Richard.
Rich.
And looks like the NFL draft is underway, and the only thing is it was different. The Tennessee Titans will select Jeremiah Love as the number 4 pick, and will have a huge coverage in this one. So the Tennessee Titans will select Jeremiah Love, running back from Notre Dame.
Hey, let's go, Richard.
Thank you, Richard. Appreciate it.
You already got your jersey order, Richard.
Didn't Richard call Saleh?
He did.
Wasn't Richard our soothsayer on Robert Saleh
he was
being
like
hired?
real early on that.
He
was like breaking news. He was like, hey, we can't be breaking news, but he was right.
Rich might be breaking down numbers, and hey,
interesting.
Is he going to end up being our freaking research department?
Trevor Sikkema coming up at 7:20. But to begin hour 2, the Jets can change the entire draft with who they select with the number 2 overall pick. No one knows who it's going to be. What if you were the GM? Who would you take between Arvell Reese or David Bailey after this?
7:02. Good morning, live from the Circus Sports, the Mid-Kentucky Down studio. I'm Justin Hawkins. Tonight, the NFL Draft officially kicks off with round 1 in Pittsburgh. The Titans hold the 4th overall draft pick tonight. You can tune in to Titans radio's coverage starting at 6 p.m. tonight right here on 104.5 The Zone. NFL news, per ESPN's Mike Rice, Patriots head coach Mike Vrabel will miss day 3 of the NFL Draft on Saturday for the first time in his coaching career as he seeks counseling stemming from the published photos from the New York Post of him and former reporter from The Athletic, Diana Rossini. Also, the Cowboys are not negotiating a long-term deal with wide receiver George Pickens, and he will play on the franchise tag this year in 2026. The NBA playoffs last night, the Detroit Pistons beat the Magic 98-83, tying the series up at 1 game apiece, and they also end the longest home losing streak in NBA playoff history at 11 games. And the Thunder in the nightcap beat the Suns 120-107, taking a 2-0 series lead in that one, led by Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, who had 37 points and 9 assists on the night. In the NHL playoffs, the Flyers beat the Penguins 5-2. They take a 3-0 series lead. The Stars beat the Wild 4-3 in overtime as they take a 2-1 series lead. And the Ducks beat the Oilers in the nightcap 6-4 to tie their series up at 1. For all your foundation repair and waterproofing needs, you got to go to USSTN.com. Breaking news at once on your home for the Titans and Vols. This is 104.5 The Zone.
Hour number 2 of the program, 7 a.m. on draft day. Good morning and welcome in. Ramon Foster and Will Bowling, Justin Hawkins at the controls, 615-737-1045. Tonight at 6 p.m. on Titans Radio, our crew takes you pick by pick through the NFL Draft. Our crew with Taylor Zarzer, Amy Wells, Rhett Bryan, Ramon Foster, and myself. I have listened to so many drafts on Titans Radio, Ramon, and I could not be more excited to be a part of one tonight and tomorrow.
That's your first one, huh?
It's going to be a blast.
I just thought about this.
When I started on the sidelines this past season, and it was told, like, hey, you're going to be part of our draft coverage too. I've been looking forward to this literally since the day that I started with the team last year. Yeah. I could not be more pumped for tonight.
Yeah, no,
it's going to be fun.
I just like it because this is the payoff. Like I got to give it to us. I feel like I'm bragging on us right now. I got to give it to us. Look at me. I got to give it to us. Exactly. This is about as open end of a conversation we've had about a pick selection, I feel like, in the last 5 years. I heard 3HL talking, I think, it might have been Buck them, talking about the 2022 draft of Caleb Farley. Like, nobody really knew what direction they were going in, and the team was still buzzing in a good direction. So you didn't feel pressed about getting a significant player, per se. Like, you knew you needed one.
22 was Traylon. 21 was Farley.
Oh, Farley, yeah. But, like, you weren't thinking about, like, this is a franchise changer. You just wanted a couple of pieces to just throw inside of the pot and hope they turned out to be good.
Yeah, and to be fair, you were picking at the 20s.
Yeah, exactly. And that's why I will also say, too, is the NFL makes it hard to stay good. Because that's in back-to-back years, 3 first-rounders that did not pan out when you were picking later in the draft.
Yeah. I remember that 21 draft.
Lord.
Kadarius Toney was one we talked a lot about. He went 20 right before the Titans were on the clock, got to the New York Giants. We talked a lot about Jalen Phillips in that draft. He went 18 to the Dolphins. We talked a lot about Greg Newsome, ended up going 4 picks after the Titans at 26 to the Cleveland Browns. But we talked a lot about Farley. Farley was one of the odds-on favorites that year in 2021. I go back to the one where they ended up taking Corey Davis and thinking about the different options in that draft. And that was going back to the 2017 draft when you had Jamal Adams, you had the big 3 receivers that year who were seen as top 10 talents were Corey Davis, Mike Williams, and John Ross. And you had the speed of John Ross, the contested catch ability of Williams, and then just the production of Corey Davis. That was a little more open-ended within the same position. But yeah, this is as open-ended as it's been in quite some time, at the very least, in the last decade of Titans draft picks on what the heck they're going to do. And I can't wait. I have no level of confidence on who becomes a Tennessee Titan tonight around, like 7:45, 7:30.
About 7:45, and the broadcast tonight is from 6 to 9
That's
p.m.
correct.
as well.
That's correct.
There'll be a big party on the field, if I'm not mistaken. Hopefully, we get an opportunity to get a Zoom call, or Taylor gets a Zoom call with the pick at the time too. And that event is awesome. This is my fourth one, if I'm not mistaken.
Nice.
And it's always cool. The fans are always good. And I know we gave out a disclaimer yesterday is be in uniform as far as jersey goes, but there will be a Dallas Cowboy fan or two, I'm sure, that's going to be there, unless they make them change it.
They told them they can't.
They did.
On the season ticket email said you may not wear another jersey.
So your friend from the country club or from the neighborhood who want to wear their Cowboy Tampa stuff, no. This ain't the night tonight. Y'all should have went up to Pittsburgh, where you can be in the smorgasbord of people.
So the Jets can change maybe some trade interest at 3 tonight, depending on who falls to 3. Ian Rappaport said yesterday that there will be a lot of interest if Arvell Reese gets past 2 for teams to move up to 3 or 4 if Arvell Reese is still on the board. I'm on the record, Ramon. I think that's the one scenario where the Titans move back, is if somebody offers them a king's ransom for Arvell Reese if he is there with the 4th overall pick. And I think that's what you would do. I think you try to move back and then get the top receiver if you do end up getting a trade offer for Reese, because I think somebody's going to fall in love with Reese's potential and overall athletic ability.
Yeah.
But if you were New York, if you were Jaramuji and the Jets organization, and you were given the choice between Arvell Reese or David Bailey, and I'm putting you in the GM's shoes, because I think Aaron Glenn may have a different pick than what they're going to end up doing, who would you take between Arvell Reese or David Bailey?
Reese or Bailey? I'd elect to go Reese for them. I would. Just looking at the overall setup of them, like I just said earlier, they need sack help off the edge, and they do. But with the way you look at Aaron Glenn's dynamic, I guess, mindset and play, like he needs guys all over the field. And I think you can, with how that team is built up, you can double team David Bailey. Like when you look at how Arvell Reese could be using the New York Jets defense on top of the division he plays in as well, where you got to get somebody that can get after Josh Allen. You got to find somebody to get pressure on Drake May or drop in coverage as well. Like those are the things I'm thinking about when I think about the New York Jets defenses. Who can go get after the quarterback? And to me, I think for Aaron Glenn's defense, I do think he fits the mold, even though I don't think he'll have a real say on that pick. It'll end up being Bailey, but I think Arvell Reese would be my selection for them.
It's going to be interesting. I have no clue what they're going to do, and I'm not sure anybody really has any level of confidence.
So if we're talking about the Jets pick, because that affects the Titans at 4.
Right, affects everybody.
In your opinion, which one does enough for the Jets, I guess? Is it the edge rusher? Like, because I can
Either way,
see a lane, but like we're talking about Will McDonald being their sack getter last year with 8 of them. They had 26 on the season. Think about the 26 sacks.
They're going with either Arvell Reese or David Bailey.
6 sacks on the season.
I mean, Myles Garrett's pushing that number.
That's what I'm saying.
By himself.
A solo mission.
On another bad team.
You said it, not me.
Well, okay. I mean, they're picking the top 10. They're a bad team.
Yeah, they're a bad team. I would look at them needing somebody that can get after the quarterbacks in that division. And the way Arvell Reese rushes up the line of scrimmage, he's capable of it. He's very capable of it.
It's going to be interesting. So you have them at 2 with that decision. You have the Cardinals, who very clearly want to trade out. Todd McShay has talked so much this week about how ownership appears to be smitten with Jeremiah Love for the Arizona Cardinals, despite the fact that they brought in Tyler Algier from the Atlanta Falcons and already have James Conner on the roster. Mm-hmm. It would be very sad for Tyler Algier if he went from an organization where he was stuck behind Bijan Robinson to an organization who immediately drafts Jeremiah Love the second he gets to town. Because Tyler Algier was seen as the type of player who had the upward mobility to go from being a backup to a starter and go from being a complementary piece to, hey, if we gave you the lion's share of the reps, can you be the guy? Yeah. Almost similarly to the way Tony Pollard is viewed when he became a Titan, leaving the shadow of Ezekiel Elliott. If he was to go to that new place, finally get the new deal, and then, oh, hey, by the way, We're drafting Jeremiah Love. Sorry, bud.
We talked about Ty last year.
That's
here.
tough.
After I know, like
Yeah, we did.
seriously, we talked
did.
about him coming here potentially as a free agent.
Could he be a budget option on Tony Pollard, or even
Right.
just complimenting Tony Pollard? It's another 1A, 1B situation.
No doubt about it.
Yeah.
But here's what I would say. That's just the game.
Sure
you know
is.
that.
That's what the money's for.
That's what the money's
Still getting paid.
for. Yeah, you are.
Trevor Sikkema does the best job covering the draft of anybody out there. NFL Stock Exchange podcast with him and Connor Rogers is a must-listen year-round for NFL fans. And Trevor will join us to break down the Titans draft and tonight's first round coming up next. Ramon Will on 104.5 The Zone, a draft day edition of the program. Ramon Foster and Will Bowling getting you ready for round one coverage, which we will be a part of on Titans Radio tonight at 6 o'clock. Joining us, Ramon, Rand Carthon might be offended by this, but I'm going to say this is our favorite Florida Gator. Ooh. I feel honored to have a draft day visit by the one and only Trevor Sikkema, NFL Stock Exchange podcast, a must-download as well. Trevor, good morning on a busy day. We appreciate you for starting with us. How you doing?
Yeah, of course, guys. I appreciate you having me. We can't start it off by doing my guy Rand like that. I can't go after a Gator great with that kind of a statement, man. I mean, until I become a general manager one day, he's always got that over me. So I will gladly take number 2 behind Rand, but I appreciate it, guys. Thanks.
That's real, man. He would live in the world of petty, man. Like, it's
Always.
okay for us to crap on him from time to time. He was in here with us last Friday, Trevor, and he just had a well of a time. We didn't even bring up UT versus Florida. None of those things, man. It was a good time with him.
Well, I appreciate you holding restraint there and making sure that you didn't bring that up. That's good self-control by you. That's good.
It was. And by the way, man, it was awesome running into you at the SEC tournament, too, man. I'm glad we had an opportunity to dap it up real quick. And the dap was real solid, too, if the folks were wondering.
The DAP was solid, and I want you guys to know the reason why he's bringing that up is because my man was right there on the court side. Like, he knew that I'd bring that up with him saying that.
Yep.
He walked past me to get to where the real VIPs sit to watch the basketball game. That's why he wanted to bring that up here.
Trevor, listen, I got friends in high places, man. His name is Ron Sled, and he works with somebody you know. Why were you down there, Trevor? Huh?
Hey, I had to be close to the sleigh. Somebody's got to keep an eye on it, you know?
That's a good point.
No doubt.
Very good point. Trevor Sikkema, our guest this morning, previewing the draft. Trevor, all the information around Cardinals at 3, Titans at 4, it has gotten very interesting over the last couple of days. What is your hunch on who ends up becoming a Tennessee Titan tonight with the 4th overall pick?
When I look at it, I think it's between those 3 players, I think, that everybody talks about. David Bailey is one of them. I think Sonny Styles is the other. And then Jeremiah Love. I think those are the 4 players where the conversation is around all of those guys. And I can see the realities, and it makes sense why all 4 could potentially be Tennessee Titans. But I do actually feel like it's going to be Jeremiah Love. That is where I'm going here. That's what I put in my final mock draft. And the reason why is because that's the consistent theme that I feel like I've heard over the last couple of months. You know, you get these last couple of weeks, last couple of days specifically, and the rumors just start flying, man. And I think that we sometimes confuse ourselves as to think, oh, this information that we're getting, the closer to the draft, that means it's most true. And I feel like most drafts, that's not the case. And so there's a lot of smoke right now for Jeremiah Love to go number 3 overall. I struggle with it. Maybe they do go that direction, but come on. You brought back James Conner. You signed Tyler Algier. You still have Trey Benson, let alone the fact that you've got 1, maybe 2, you could argue, offensive line needs that you have to upgrade. Don't give yourself a situation like the Raiders had last year with Ashton Genty, where you draft this player, the offensive line's not ready, and it doesn't mean squat for you. So to me, I have a hard time thinking that a franchise is going to go that direction. And then when we get on the clock at number 4 for the Titans, I went back and forth heavy between Sonny Styles and Jeremiah Love for them. I have Styles and Love both as top 5 players in this class. I think they are both phenomenal. You can argue, all right, Robert Saleh, he's a defensive guy. He's going to want Sonny Styles. He's going to remind him of Fred Warner. But when you look at Saleh's career, he's been able to get the most out of linebackers anywhere he has gone, and that includes some of these mid- and late-round linebackers as well. What the Titans could use, though, is certainly a dynamic player out of the backfield to help Cam Ward. So I know their running back room isn't the worst thing in the world either, all respect to Tony Pollard and Tajay Spears. So when I see this, though, I just feel as though they're going to want to go in a direction that helps Cam Ward. Make this first pick of the draft one that's centered around helping Cam Ward, and then let Robert Saleh cook the rest of the draft with some defensive additions. And I think that's a game plan that they're going to go into this with.
Trevor Sikkema, NFL Stock Exchange podcast, available wherever you download podcasts. Trevor, when you talk about Sonny and what makes him a Fred Warner type athlete and type linebacker, where are the similarities between the games of those two guys?
High football IQ. I mean, you just go watch the Indiana game, the Ohio State-Indiana game of the Big Ten Championship. I mean, Sonny Styles is recognizing where the ball is going so well that you'd think that they'd have the radio signals mixed up, and he's actually got the offensive coordinator in his helmet and not the defensive coordinator as the green dot guy. I mean, the recognition that he had triggering to the ball, where it was going, not falling for misdirection and pullers and things like that, the physicality that he played with, he was a one-man showstopper. And what I love so much about Fred Warner is the way he plays in the middle of that defense. It allows everyone else to play more free. And I think a big reason why we're sitting here talking about what Arvell Reese did this past season, the versatility that Caleb Downs has. Yes, of course, those guys are talented in their own right, and I don't want to take anything away from them. But they're put in those positions to make those plays this past year at Ohio State because the Buckeyes had Sonny Styles in the middle, because they knew that even if they were maybe numbers down, this guy was going to run straight through the lead blocker, and it was going to still affect where the running back was going to go. His IQ, his anticipation was going to give the rest of the defense time to fly to the ball and rally because he's so good at what he does. The coverage stuff, okay, not quite what Fred Warner is. You know, I think Fred was a little bit further along when it came to the natural zone dropping stuff than where Sonny Styles is. But a big reason why is because they've just asked Sonny Styles to be a downhill attacking linebacker for the last couple of years at Ohio State. You see the size, you see the athletic ability. I think that coverage is there in him. So to me, the similarities with Fred Warner and Sonny Styles are his approach to the game and his anticipation on how he can affect it.
We're joined by Trevor Sycamore this morning at NFL Stock Exchange, and just an overall cool dude as well, man. Trevor, when you look at this draft, 1 and 2, right? We understand what 1 is going to be as a quarterback, and we know that, of course, Fernando Mendoza. But as far as the Jets go at 2 and 3, that can affect the Titans at number 4 as well. How do they split hairs on this one as far as David Bailey or Arvell Reese? What benefits, Aaron Glenn versus what's the best long-term for them since they canceled David Bailey's 30 visit as well?
Yeah, guys, I'm going to be honest with you. I think almost everything lines up for Arvell Reese to be the pick here. I know that some of the insiders have been saying, well, I've heard that, David Bailey is the more likely pick because he's sort of the win now player. Like, he's the guy who you could put on the field and he'll produce more right away. I've seen people use the word sure thing, which I think is a funny word to use for the NFL draft, because anybody who's been covering it long enough knows that those words probably shouldn't exist, even for guys who are picked in the top 3. But Arvell Reese, to me, first and foremost, he's the more Aaron Glenn player. I mean, when you watch Arvell Reese play, the strength that he plays with, the physicality, I mean, the raw power that he has to play on the line of scrimmage, to defend the run, to take on pullers, to stack up offensive tackles in the run when holding the line of scrimmage, that speed to power move that he has that is just so devastating. And then also his ability to turn and chase and hunt the football if you ever have him in those off-ball linebacker situations. That's the Aaron Glenn player to a T. And then if you want to say, okay, well, this is more of a team-building strategy type of a pick, well, I think the Jets' timeline lines itself up for Arvell Reese's development better anyways. The Jets aren't going to be good for another year or two. They're not going to be in a legitimate winning window until 2027, 2028. That's perfect for developing Arvell Reese into the exact player that you want him to be. So I understand why people are going back and forth, because David Bailey's got a rare first step when it comes to that overall explosiveness as a speed pass rusher. He's somebody who brings you a trait that doesn't come around very often. He's got the production over the last 2 years at Stanford and at Texas Tech. But I just look at when I sit here and I go, okay, what do I actually think is going to happen outside and independent of what some people around the league and insiders might be saying? What do I actually think about it, what I think is going to happen? I can't find a reason that the Jets will draft David Bailey over Arvell Reese. And so we'll see what happens when they get on the clock tonight. But I think all logic points to them taking Reese and not Bailey.
This is by far one of the craziest top 5 drafts I feel like we've seen in a while, because Arizona's the wild card. So many rumors about them wanting to move out of that spot. Heck, I think there's conversation about the Titans wanting to move back too. But if you do look at the amount of picks or people that have said that will go to Arizona. It's been, of course, Arvell Reese or David Bailey. And then the wild card would be not Sonny Styles, but Jeremiah Love or Francis Mauigoa. How do you look if it's Francis Mauigoa for Arizona? What does that do for the Titans? Because at that point, you'll have Bailey, Love, Styles. How do you see, I guess, Robert Saleh's mindset on that pick if those three are available for you, if Francis goes third to Arizona?
Yeah, so that's where I do think that David Bailey could seriously come into play. Where I don't love him as a fit over Reese for the Jets specifically, I do like him a lot more as a Saleh fit for his scheme. Robert Saleh, he plays a four-down front with guys, and a lot of what he does in his defense is philosophically built around winning with four at the line of scrimmage, and that includes pass rushing. You look at some of those years that he was the head coach with the Jets, and when it was really starting to crumble on him towards the end there, it was because his philosophy was failing because he didn't have the players to be able to get home with four. And when Robert Saleh has to blitz more than he's comfortable with, not that he doesn't blitz, everybody blitzes, but when you have to allocate other resources around the defense to trying to affect the quarterback and affect the passing game when it comes to pressure, well, then you've got to rob Peter to pay Paul, if you will. Okay, we're going to take this guy and we're going to add him to the pass rush. Okay, that's a good thing, but now we don't really have the numbers that we want in the secondary for our scheme to be built the way that it wants to be built. So when you look at David Bailey, you look at that production, that one-on-one pass rush win rate, the pass rush grade for him over the last couple of years, the quick pressures that he's able to generate as that true defensive end type of player, and that becomes more of a solid scheme fit. So I like Bailey a lot more at number 4 than I would at number 2 for the Jets from philosophical and just player potential reasons. So I think he comes on the board there, and you start to think about him. I really do wonder if Sonny Styles and Jeremiah Love and David Bailey are all three on the board. I think it's a coin flip between David Bailey and Jeremiah Love because, like I just said, even with them probably wanting to invest in a high offensive pick and helping out Cam Ward this upcoming season, it might be tough for them to pass David Bailey knowing how good of a fit he is for that solid scheme.
Trevor Sikkema, NFL Stock Exchange, our guest. You can get him tonight on Bleacher Report's YouTube channel with Micah Parsons, Malik Neighbors, Adam Lefko, Connor Rogers doing live coverage of the draft as well. Trevor, when you look at trade down options for the Cardinals and Titans, who makes the most sense to move up into the top 5 for you?
Yeah, I mean, there are so many teams that we have heard about potentially moving up into that top 5 area. I think the Saints are a team that a lot of people, anytime the Saints get quiet, anytime Mickey Loomis gets quiet, I'm like, okay, what are you scheming over here? So I have not heard a lot out of New Orleans for, I would say, the greater part of the last month and a half. And so I wonder if they're scheming something here. So New Orleans is that team at number 8 to potentially move up because I think the whole point is you want to get in front of 3 teams specifically. It is the Giants at 5. It is the Cleveland Browns at number 6, and then the Washington Commanders at number 7, because I think a lot of the teams that are picking 8, 9, 10, the Cowboys at number 12, the Los Angeles Rams, at number 13, all of those teams I think would want a lot of the players that are going to go from that 5 to 7 range. Whether it's Reuben Bain, Jordan Tyson, Carnell Tate, like those guys I think are going to be very, very much near the top of the list for the Giants. You could throw Caleb Downs in there as well, but yeah, the Giants, the Browns, and the Commanders. So I look at all of those teams. We have heard the Chiefs could be wanting to move up from number 9. Like they're looking to get aggressive. The Rams, I think that Les Snead and Sean McVay absolutely look at this draft saying, we don't care. If we trade all of our picks, right, and we come away with Jordan Tyson and Trent McDuffie as our 2 additions that we made this offseason via our draft picks, we're great with that. Don't care. We're going into the year Super Bowl favorites. So I think it's really all of those teams there. The Saints, the Chiefs, obviously not the Giants at 10 anymore, but the Cowboys at 12 and then the Rams at 13. Those are the teams that I think are eyeing to get pretty aggressive to trade up.
So let's say, just for the sake of conversation, the Titans do move back, and it's at 8 or 9 with the Saints or with the Chiefs. And all of a sudden, now you can justify a wide receiver 1 at the top of this draft for Cam Ward. Who would be your favorite receiver fit at that point, Trevor, between Jordan Tyson, Carnell Tate, or Mekhi Lemon?
I think for the Titans specifically, it would still be Carnell Tate, because when you look at Cam Ward, I think he operates best when he knows he has the ability to create an explosive play, right? When it's built into so much of what he does, where he goes, okay, here's the play. Okay, this is the progression. This is what the defense looks like. The first thing that I'm looking at here is, all right, let's recognize the safeties. Where are the safeties here? Do I have an opportunity here? And you go, okay, Tate's got an opportunity to win one-on-one. He's running either a skinny post, a 9 route, whatever it is. He's getting deep down the field. So I know I got that in the back of my head. If I see off the snap that he gets a clean release, he's even or even beyond his press coverage assignment there on the line of scrimmage, boom, I'm hitting him. And I think that Cam Ward operates very comfortably and confidently when he knows that he can create an explosive play at any time. When you have Carnell Tate on your team, you have a built-in explosive play type of a player. He was a great vertical receiver this past season. I know he didn't have the fastest 40-yard dash, but I think that was a bad day for him, to be honest with you. I think he's a lot more of a high 4.4 guy than he is a 4.5 guy. He's able to create that separation with those subtleties in his breaks when he's deep down the field. He's able to do that at high speeds as well. And then what I love the most about him, every single year at Ohio State, he had an above 50% contested catch percentage, and this past year, it was 85.7%. That's unheard of. If you're above 60%, you're considered an elite wide receiver, one of the best in all of college football. He had 85.7. It's insane. 0.0 drop rate this year on catchable passes that were thrown his way. So reliability, vertical threat, the subtlety to create that separation deep down the field, and then just meshing with what Cam Ward does really well.
We're talking with Trevor Sickleman this morning about pre-draft. Trevor, I have a question for you. You brought up championship, putting themselves as Super Bowl favorites. On the AFC side of things, man, I know Denver doesn't have a first-round draft pick because, of course, they went out and got Waddle. But it's Denver, to me, it's Buffalo, it's Kansas City, and it's the Patriots, right? If we're being honest about the AFC side of things, which one of them come out of this draft better suited to compete with the Rams or Eagles on the NFC side going into this year from the draft?
Yeah, I think that it is the Broncos or the Bills. I think those are the two most likely teams that have the roster to really keep up with a team like the Rams. Or, I mean, it's going to be a slugfest in the NFC once again this year. But I think the Rams are that top team going into the season. But I just look at what Denver did this past year, and you know, if Bo Nix never gets hurt, I mean, are they going to the Super Bowl? You know, are we talking about them potentially as Super Bowl champions? So I think that they've got the roster to be able to get there, and you're just adding Jalen Waddle to that mix, which is an incredible addition from them. I'm curious to see what happens in Buffalo. You obviously can't count them out when you have a guy like Josh Allen, but the wild card team that I'll throw in there, I don't know if it's a wild card team, they were good last year, is the Jaguars. I'm a big Liam Cohen guy. I think that he really was gelling very well with Trevor Lawrence last year. Now, they didn't make a ton of additions this season, so I think that James Gladstone, their general manager, might be hyping up to say, like, hey, 2027 is really going to be our year. We're going to nail that draft. We're going to nail that free agency because we've got more capital to work with. I wonder if maybe we're a year away from the Jags being true, top 5 contenders for a Super Bowl in the NFL. But I think they're going to continue to make noise because I'm a big fan of what Liam Cohen is as a coach.
Wow.
He is Trevor Sikkema at Tampa Bay Trey, or you get him on Twitter. If you are not subscribed to the NFL Stock Exchange podcast, you are doing NFL fandom wrong. Him and Connor totally crush it. They'll crush it this weekend on Bleacher Report's YouTube channel as well. Star-studded cast of characters tonight, Trevor, to break this thing down in this weekend. You're going to give Micah Parsons and Malik Neighbors like your pre-draft thumbnails on them? Like, are you excited to work with them tonight?
I am going to have to dust those scouting profiles off before I get there. But yeah, I'm just hoping I don't get over ambitious on the show and I start getting real heated. And I'm like, okay, all right, Micah, come over here, really quick. Let me show you exactly what happens here. Go ahead and give me a good stack and shed. Put his hands on me and I go flying 15 feet. So that's what I need to try to avoid in the moment. But other than that, it's going to be a good time.
I love it, Trevor. We really appreciate you visiting with us here on Draft Day. Thanks so much.
Appreciate it, Trevor.
Yeah, appreciate it, guys.
No doubt.
Yes, sir. Trevor Sikkema with us this morning, kicking off Draft Day.
Real good.
He was cooking.
It was crazy.
He reached like a flow state there, like every prospect.
And you could tell he's ready to go for tonight already.
Love it.
It was fascinating that Super Bowl AFC side of things.
Yeah.
He didn't even mention. I threw Kansas City in there. No whisper of them. Are they hard reset era? Hard reset
They
era.
They were in the
them.
playoffs last year.
Yeah.
They're in the top 10 pick.
Yeah. Wow.
Is Mahomes healthy? I don't know.
He will be.
Everyone's healthy the day of the draft, though, because every surgeon sends letters. They send an owl to every facility.
You know what I don't want to hear tonight or
What's
see? I just, it irks me. I think it's corny. It's kind of cheesy. If I see one prospect send out a letter on why you should draft him, I swear I'm going to walk off the podium today.
One already did it yesterday with a video. You see the Chris Bell treadmill video with a huge sleeve on his knee saying he was ahead of schedule? That's the way it goes.
Whoever the agencies are, write a letter. Write a public letter.
Coming up, Jeremy Fowler's latest intel for the Titans at ESPN.com on a mock draft with Matt Miller. It's a pick that Titans fans will like a lot. We'll tell you what it is after this. Credit card interest rates are now over 29%, and most people are only making the minimum payments, so they're getting nowhere. Hey, it's Will Bolding. Here's what many homeowners don't realize. Using the equity in your home, you could easily access hundreds of thousands in cash. With Loan Pronto's Rapid Equity Loan, you could pay off your credit cards, your existing HELOC, your car loans, or get money for that home improvement project. One client just got $100,000 approved and saved over $1,500 a month. Here's the best part. With Loan Pronto, you can do it all from your phone. Zero out of pocket, no hard credit pull up front, no appraisal, no long, drawn-out bank process, and no touching your first mortgage. Rates are at near 3-year lows. Act now. Go to loanpronto.com, see how much you can get in about 60 seconds. That's Loan Pronto, 2,800 5-star Google reviews. Call 615-499-5780 or visit loanpronto.com, 615-499-5780 or online at loanpronto.com. Equal housing lender, NMLS 1661781, NMLS consumeraccess.org. Ramon Will, 104.5 The Zone. Oh, the serotonin when you hear this song on draft day. Hope you left cookies under your draft tree last night.
Come on, baby.
Watch draft day. The best bad movie.
I never saw it.
Draft day, I actually haven't either, but just I feel like I have with all the clips I've seen. Yeah, no, I've never seen it.
Gonna watch it today.
Zero interest in it.
I just don't watch movies. You know this about me.
Yeah. I think I've seen it every year.
Like, well, I just don't. I'm not huge on the fabrication stories around the league. Like, I never watched Ballers.
Did you ever watch Blindside?
I did watch Blindside because I
You
know
lived it.
Mike. Yeah, I know Mike. What up, Mike?
You literally
listen,
lived
Mike
it.
Orr. If you listen this morning, that's my guy.
Yeah.
I had to watch that one just to see it.
Yeah, sure.
But I was still, was it college? No. It was right out of the NFL. I ended up seeing that one.
Yeah.
It's about an offensive lineman, so I can see to that.
Of course you did.
I can see
course
to
you
that
did.
one. But
I love that
draft
song,
day,
though, Draft Day.
I hated draft day.
Okay. I'm sorry.
But I love it.
Oh, no, sorry. I thought you were talking about the movie at first.
No.
I
Well, I was just looking at it. Why would I look at a bunch of storylines of a dude getting? I'm out here living the NFL life.
I understand that.
No, that's just me. I'm weird like that.
No, I don't think it's weird at all.
Yeah.
If I lived it, I probably wouldn't want to watch it either.
You watch Ballers?
No, I've never seen it.
You did?
Oh, I watched it.
You did?
Yeah.
Did
Pretty good
you
show.
like it? It was?
Yeah.
I heard it was good.
Pretty good show.
They Hollywooded it up. One of my former teammates was a writer on there as well.
Really?
Yes, absolutely.
Nice.
Sure was. So pretty cool.
Jeremy
Mendenhall,
Fowler.
That's who it was. Rashad Mendenhall wrote for them.
Oh, yeah. Well, so that's a draft story I remember, too. I
Mendenhall.
remember wanting him to the Titans so badly when the Titans drafted Chris Johnson. And we knew we wanted a running back in the first round. That it was like, man, Mendenhall and Lendale, like you're going to have the toughest running back room in like NFL history. Worked out pretty well. That Chris Johnson guy ended up being pretty good. But
No doubt.
I remember being like, dang you Steelers, taking Rashad Mendenhall from us in the first round.
Rack, man, is what we call him. He had a lot of potential. He goes through a lot mentally about his time in Pittsburgh, so I'm not even going to go further into it. He gets a lot of hate. He still hadn't let go of some things that wasn't all his fault, like the fumble going into the end zone in our Super Bowl against Green Bay. It's that, and Rack got some stuff.
He's a good player.
He's a good dude. I give him that, too.
Yeah, nice.
Real good dude, so I'll leave that alone.
I got you. Jeremy Fowler with intel for the Titans in a mock draft with Matt Miller. And it's one of like the 15 mock drafts that have come out in the last 24 hours. First on Arizona. They've got a move here. And Jeremy Fowler says the Jeremiah Love buzz has persisted for a few weeks. Mm-hmm. He says, but the Cardinals could be looking to drum up trade interest. He says the draft in a way starts at 3, and some teams are wondering if Arizona is bluffing on the Love pick when edge rusher and tackle are such obvious needs. Matt Miller says, I called around multiple times to see if this might be a place where the Chiefs move up from 9 for a pass rusher. But he says, I was told it's unlikely the Cardinals would want to move back that far. That's interesting to me. Yeah. That makes me think it is Washington.
Yeah.
Who is the team most likely to move up? Or maybe New Orleans. I think it's 7 or 8, if I had to guess right now. Washington or New Orleans who move up to 3. So Matt Miller, in his mock draft, has taken Arvell Reese 3rd for the Arizona Cardinals. He's calling their bluff
2 is
on Jeremiah
Bailey.
Love. 2 is Bailey. That's correct. Says, I'm sticking with the chalk pick of Reese to boost a defense that allowed 28.7 points per game last year, 29th in the NFL. Jeremy Fowler and Matt Miller in their co-op mock draft are sticking with Jeremiah Love.
Yeah.
Saying Tennessee has considered Sonny Styles at this point per a source. The Titans like his game. One of the top edge rushers would also be an option, and possibly taking an offensive tackle such as Spencer Fano, which we've not heard much of.
I like that.
Rival teams say Love makes a lot of sense for Tennessee to help Cam Ward. Matt Miller says there's not a logical trading partner for the Titans at this point of the draft, especially with the top 2 edge rushers off the board. Mike Bergonzi would start his second draft as Titans GM by getting my top-ranked player in the class, as Love is an impact running back to pair with second-year quarterback Cam Ward. That's what you think is going to happen.
Yeah.
So you guys both think it's going to happen.
Yeah, I do. Again, my draft crush is Sonny Styles at that spot, but offensively, I go with what Trevor Sigma said at the last time. Like, you give him his offensive weapon. Brian Daboll, and I mentioned this a little bit earlier, he has to have a say-so. Like, if you're trusting your team and you basically got 3 head coaches and Bones Fossils, special teams, former head coach himself, very respected in his league. You got Robert Saleh, who's manning the defense and doing it the second time his way around it. And I think he did a lot of shopping this offseason as far as the defense goes as well. That could have been the tea leaves in this conversation too. And now you look at offensively. Wan'Dale, okay, yes, they ended up adding him, but you need a threat. And that's the one thing that we've spoke about with this offense is where do you find a threat to take the pressure off of Cam?
Yeah, right.
You can do as much as you want to with Jeremiah Love and back in this thing. Only question I have, though, is where does your starting guard come from? Right?
You got time in the draft, right?
You do, but how soon? Do you go offense, or you go offense, defense? Is the way I'm looking at it. You know what I'm saying? Like, that to me is, after tonight, a nice storyline is how do you piece this team together now that you got your star?
You've watched a lot of film on this class, and obviously you know offensive line as well as anybody. What would you do?
I would probably end up going guard at the next position on this one.
So second round?
I'm not opposed to it, not even a little bit.
So there's a big 3. There's a big 3 that would be available. And if you believe Caleb Tiernan, the right tackle from Northwestern, is a guard, then really a big 4 of Keelan Rutledge at Georgia Tech, Chase Pasantis from Texas A&M, Emmanuel Pregnon from Oregon, and Caleb Tiernan from Northwestern, who would be available for you to pick in the second round. You think at 35?
My favorites for those positions is Pasantis. Okay.
And there's a chance he goes in the first round, too.
It's very true. Mm-hmm. And I like Emmanuel Pregnon, but don't love him.
He is a people mover.
He is. Very much so. And he might fit the scheme that I think they're going to run offensively.
Sure.
But also, Keelan Rutledge, also starter at right guard. Plug and play. But is it a reach at 35? Or do you find him, what is the next pick, 66 for the Titans?
For which one specifically? Rutledge?
Rutledge. Rutledge is slated as a 4th guard, but beauty's in the eye of the beholder, and I think scheme and fit matters.
I don't think it's a major reach if you took Keelan Rutledge with a 35th pick. I think Keelan Rutledge, who is ranked 47th on Daniel Jeremiah's top 150 and 62nd by Dane Brugler and the Beast.
Yeah.
You could maximize your value for the pick if you felt confident he would last to the early 40s, in the mid 40s, and then you pick up another 3 in the process.
Mm-hmm.
That is the dream scenario for me out of all of this. If I'm including trades in my dream situation for the Titans, pick up a 3, move back to 40 through 45, and take Keelan Rutledge with your second round pick, because then you can justify that if you're able to go get a wide receiver and a linebacker on day 2. What I don't want them to do is take another day 3 wide receiver. Because right now you have 2 day 3 wide receivers that you took last season that I'd rather see them develop than just crowd that room even more with guys who are going to be mainly special teams players to begin with. Get me a difference maker that you don't already have in terms of wide receiver skill set. And I think you could go find that on day 2. If you could add a pick that becomes Ted Hurst out of Georgia State, becomes Malachi Fields from Notre Dame, then I think we're talking about a difference. Chris Brazzell, I would say another one. That, again, that's a skill set you don't have. Who is the guy creating space, running the vertical routes for Wan'Dale Robinson and Calvin Ridley to be technicians over the middle and more in between 0 to 15 yards? Who's the guy stretching the defense?
Nobody right now. Like, Wan'Dale can get down the field.
I'd love it if Elikai Manor or Chimere Dike could become that. I haven't seen them do that yet.
I do think this is going to be a play-action heavy-ish team as well with Cam's skill set.
And with Jeremiah Love's skill set.
Jeremiah Love,
for sure.
No doubt.
Coming up, Robert Ayers joins us in just under a half hour. Former first-round pick edge rusher, the Denver Broncos. He'll walk us through the Titans' top options. But if you were sleeping in early this morning, we'll catch you up on the latest intel. What Todd McShay said on his podcast late last night, what David Bailey accidentally said, speaking to reporters in Pittsburgh. Wrapping up the headlines for you to begin hour 3 after this.
It's Ramon Foster for Medical House Calls. Good people, I'm here to tell you one of the best things you can do for yourself, especially if you staying up late tonight watching the draft. You might need an IV to kind of shake you back for the next day and going into the weekend, or you've had a long weekend, or you've had a persistent illness that has been bothering you. Well, guess what? Medical House Calls is a concierge medicine designed for your life. It's literally healthcare designed for you. They're available to you 7 days a week from 7 a.m. to 8 p.m. The beauty about those hours is this. You can get them before you go to work or after work, with them being available to you to 8 p.m. Same day appointments are available to you next day guaranteed as well. Everything from your primary health care, urgent care, IV therapy, and medical weight loss. I tell everybody, man, we worry about how we look on the outside, but getting those medical checkups could save your life. And Medical House Calls make this easy for you. For a flat fee, you can get an evaluation, full exam, treatment plans, and prescriptions if you need it. And the coolest part about it is they will come to you, so no waiting rooms whatsoever. Listen to me. Head over to medicalhousecalls.com or call or text them 615-838-2375.
8:03, good morning, live from the Circus Sports, the Mid-Kentucky Downs studio. I'm Justin Hawkins. Tonight, the NFL Draft officially kicks off with round 1 in Pittsburgh. The Titans hold the 4th overall pick. You can tune into Titans radio's coverage tonight, starting at 6 o'clock right here on 104.5 The Zone. NFL news this morning per ESPN's Mike Rice. Patriots head coach Mike Vrabel will miss day 3 of the NFL Draft for the first time in his coaching career as he seeks counseling, stemming from the published photos from the New York Post of him and former reporter from The Athletic, Diana Rossini. Also, this morning, the Cowboys are not negotiating a long-term deal with wide receiver George Pickens, and he will play on the franchise tag in 2026. The NBA playoffs last night, the Pistons beat the Magic 98-83, tying the series up at 1 game apiece and ending the longest home losing streak in NBA playoff history at 11 games. Also, the Thunder beat the Suns in the nightcap 120-107 to take a 2-0 series lead, led by Shai Gilgeous-Alexander at 37 points and 9 assists in the win. In the NHL playoffs last night, the Flyers beat the Penguins 5-2 as they take a 3-0 series lead. The Stars beat the Minnesota Wild 4-3 in overtime as they take a 2-1 series lead. And the Ducks beat the Oilers in the nightcap 6-4, tying their series up at 1. For all your foundation repair waterproofing needs, you got to go to USSTN.com. Breaking news at once and your home for the Titans and Vols. This is 104.5 The Zone.
Second half of the show and hour 3 off and running. 104.5 The Zone TV, Facebook Live, YouTube, Twitter, or Twitch. Tonight at 6 o'clock, you get us on Titans Radio with Taylor Zarzer, Amy Wells, Rhett Bryan. Zeph will be pushing our buttons tonight. This morning, Justin Hawkins, here in the 104.5 The Zone studios. Lot of my bad jokes and just presence for Ramon these next 2 days. So just say a prayer for him.
Listen, I thought about it as well. So you mentioned we got 14 hours with each other.
On air.
Yeah, on air.
And that's not even counting the other time.
I don't even count the time we get to the stadium and everything. But yeah, we do, man. It's good to enjoy the folks that you work with.
That's right.
And that's all that really matters, Will.
Absolutely right. We're blessed.
We are. No doubt about it.
We're very blessed.
Let the good times roll, baby.
Tonight, we're blessed to just learn what the heck the Titans are about to do because nobody really knows.
The real question, who could be upset tonight?
Oh, somebody will always be upset.
As Cam had a little bit of pushback last year, just on the trade back conversation.
Sure.
There's always questions about guys and stuff like that. But it is, I don't think with where the Titans are picking, only thing I think that could get bad favor would be if they trade out of 4 to allow somebody else to take Jeremiah Love, which I doubt.
It's interesting. I mean, so the other day I posted a TikTok of talking about how I think it's going to be David Bailey, and I think the Cardinals are going to take Jeremiah Love from the Titans. And you go to the comment section on anything like that, you're going to get a wide range of opinions, and you're going to get strong ones. There are still people that even still hate Jeremiah Love to the Titans.
What?
This is how bad teams stay bad. They take running backs in the top 5 and things like that. Like, even the biggest proponents of Jeremiah Love are going to have detractors who hate the pick. So, yeah, there's going to be somebody upset, and there's never a pick that has a 100% approval rating and all of those things. But tonight, I do genuinely believe that there is not a bad choice among the top 5 players we've been discussing for the better part of 3 months. Jeremiah Love, Arvell Reese, David Bailey, Sonny Styles, Carnell Tate. And I would put Carnell Tate as the least likely of those 5 by a pretty wide margin. The other 4 would not shock me whatsoever. Carnell Tate would surprise me if it was the 4th overall pick. Anything other than a lineman, respectfully.
Yeah,
I think is going to get more praise than negativity at 4. And the thing is, if they trade back and take a lineman, all of a sudden I'm on board for that as well. That's good. More about this class of linemen than it is taking a lineman overall for where the Titans are at this point.
No doubt, because we love the big guys at this show.
Of course we do.
And at this station.
Of course we do.
I'm trying to go find it right now, update on our poll that you sent out earlier today. Now,
sure.
34 votes, is that it? I'm going to have to go start fighting people, okay?
At Ramon and Will, I'll retweet it right now on Twitter where you can go vote in our poll. Who is your pick for the Titans, we ask? 9% of you say Arvell Reese / David Bailey. 62% say Jeremiah Love. 27% say Sonny Styles. 3% say Cardell Tate. I think Twitter's also changed how many votes things get. Because a while ago, we would post something and it would get like 1,000 votes. And I think there are less bots that vote in these things, is my guess.
Good.
Yeah, it's probably for the best.
Bots.
Because now those numbers have dropped precipitously, and we're putting them out at the same time in the same, type of content.
We're using those words before 9 a.m.
Sure. I've had extra coffee this morning. I'm feeling good. Thanks to you, because you brought in a box of coffee.
Shout out to the box of coffee this morning, man. I just wanted to switch up this morning on the coffee. I love the Wallies in there. Absolutely love it.
The new machine we got is nicer than we deserve.
And we are running through it. Do you hear me?
Sure
like running back through bag drills.
Absolutely are. Well, our show is in studio so much that we get a benefit from it more than anybody.
That's my gripe that I had.
Uh-oh.
Yeah. Come on. Can I have a second? Just 1 second.
You can have as many seconds as you want.
Man, I'm looking
Your name's
at
first on the show.
I'm looking at our teammates yesterday. You right. You right. You right. I'm looking at our teammates and just all of them yesterday at the betting at the gaming site yesterday up in Kentucky. Man, it was phenomenal.
Man, Kentucky Down Studios.
It was beautiful. Babs overshot the spot. She went all the way up to Bowling Green, flagrant on her. Okay, pay attention.
Did she
to
really?
her. She did.
I missed that.
She did. Went all the way to Bowling Green.
I've been taking long naps this week.
It was, and you gonna need them. But I'm looking at them. They had a grand old time. Savage was running yesterday. He shouldn't have been running, placing a bet on his parlays. Yes. I think Babs hit the penny slots for a little bit as well. Mayor, I don't even know where he was, okay? Zeph was bringing the show back, and I absolutely love that for Zeph. Zeph, get on the mic even more. I love this. Do you hear me? They need to add and Zeph to 3HL is what I'm telling you. Get on there even more when they leave you behind like that, okay? But I'm thinking to myself, that's like their third time out this week. They went golfing without us. Okay, and I'm just on draft day where we got the most listeners' eyes. I'm calling them out. If we don't get out, Will, by the end of this month, I'm kicking somebody's car. Okay, I'm just telling you, I got good insurance. I'm kicking somebody's car is what I'm telling, and I'm gonna refuse to pay because if we don't get out of this studio at some point in time, besides the golf tournament, I'm losing my mind. Everybody's been out but us. Pick me is what I'm telling y'all on draft day. Pick us. Oh, you want to leave the studio too, don't you?
Pick me.
Yeah. Yes. Hell yeah. I'm telling you.
I'm just sad the day they picked for the golf tournament is while I'm on my honeymoon.
No.
Yeah, I won't be there.
We gonna fight somebody.
I'll be pulling a buck the day a show goes out. I'll be gone.
Crazy, man.
You won't be able to catch me outside. I'll be at a beach drinking cocktails and eating coconut shrimp.
Eating everything. Listen,
yeah, that's
right.
Coconut shrimp is fire.
I'm telling y'all, these somebody put size 16. I'm a size 14. I'm putting this size 14 in the side of somebody's driver's side door if we don't get out of the studio.
Todd McShay is going back to Jeremiah Love as his pick for the Titans. He said so last night on his podcast.
I'd say the next thing here's what I feel really strongly about.
Okay.
And it seems like, it's a big range. It's actually not a big range. The thing that I'm taking away from all of these calls is Jeremiah Love, who a lot of people were saying, well, if he gets to 7, he's not getting to 7. Jeremiah Love, the Notre Dame running back, is going 3, as we just talked about it, the possibility with Bidwell ownership and some other people in the building. If not, I think Tennessee's very much back in play. I think a lot of the noise that started to come out was what Sonny Styles, edge rushers. And listen, I know there are people in the building that want edge rusher. And if Jeremiah Love goes 3, I think it could be Sonny Styles there at 4, okay? So it's not like, not everything is misinformation, but the context of it is hard to get because there are people in the organization that may be talking to other people or people who know somebody saying, well, they like Reese. And they do. There are people who do. And they like, and we all do. And they like Sonny Styles, and they do. And I think they like him more than other teams because of that Fred Warner position.
It's just all over the place. Just all over the place. What you gathering from this, Will?
Not much.
That's what I was thinking.
Not much.
He gave us his answer and also gave us reasons why it's not his answer.
Sonny Styles is officially the most popular pick now. Todd McShay is making Love an option again. Dane Brugler's mock draft is what I think happens and what he put out at The Athletic today. And that is obviously Fernando Mendoza going number 1, number 2 being Arvel Reese, number 3 being Jeremiah Love to Arizona, and number 4 being David Bailey to the Tennessee Titans. If I'm guessing, that is what I think happens. That is my guess. And I have no confidence at all in that guess. Eli is in Nashville next up. Good morning, Eli.
What's up, Eli?
Morning. I hope we're having a wonderful draft miss going on.
Fantastic.
Yes, sir.
I just wanted to know what you thought about, say we do take David Bailey at number 4. How do you feel about maybe reaching for the Heisman stub in Jacob Rodriguez in the second round or the third round?
Love it.
Boy.
Sign me up.
That'd be a monstrous young core right there, Eli. Like, you set yourself up in a lot of different ways. And the other part for me on those particular players, legitimately, they understand each other. The communication will be there, and the way they play is very much menacing. I hate to even use that word because it is a different level to the NFL, but their attitude on how they approach it, to me, again, I think it fits the narrative. If you want to go this route, with being Tennessee tough.
I like it. Appreciate it, Eli. Coming up, Robert Ayers joins us, former first-round pick. Talks through the Titans options after this. What's up? It's Will Bowling. Are you tired of surprise breakdowns and emergency repairs on your home systems? Well, Lead Company Plus gives you a smarter way to care for your home. For as little as $14 a month, Lead Company Plus members receive 4 annual inspections for their heating, air conditioning, plumbing, and electrical systems. Plus, members receive up to 20% off on every visit and have access to exclusive discounts and promotions. You can learn more online at leadcompany.com/plus. Platinum Home Protection starts with a Lead Company Plus membership. And in Middle Tennessee, when Mother Nature is changing the season daily, you got to be ready for whatever else is coming our way. Those random cool nights, those big heat waves, make sure that your home's HVAC system is ready. For as little as $14 a month, get Lead Company Plus and receive those 4 annual inspections for your heating, air conditioning, plumbing, and electrical systems. Online at leadcompany.com/plus. That's Lead Company. All you need. Ramon Will rolls on here in hour number 3. Ramon Foster and Will Bowling. Stream it live at 1045 The Zone TV, Facebook Live, YouTube, Twitter, or Twitch. Joining us for his weekly visits, VFL, former first-round pick, the one and only Robert Ayers. What's up, Rob? How we doing?
What's going on? I'm back.
On your day, as a matter of fact, too. Well, it's Thursday, but it's first round day. It's first round day.
You know, it's only a select few, man. I'm with 47 of us in UT history, man. So I'm proud to be one of. You know, it's a little random stat that I don't know how I'll keep remembering it. You know, but maybe why's on my mind.
Maybe 1 or 2 more to be added tonight, man.
I think so, man. I can't. You know, I know Jamar very well. You know, I'm pulling for him and Colton Hood, man. So, man, I think we should get 2, man. I think we should get 2. Get that total up to, what, 49, I think it is.
That'd be cold-blooded right there.
Rob, what was the communication with teams like this late in the process? And what do you remember about draft day and the different options that you had as teams were getting on the clock and maybe adding you on night 1?
Man, my day, it was all over the place, man. I had a range. People, you know, my agent was telling me anywhere from as high as 4 all the way back to I think it was 23 or something like that. Wow. So, you know, it was a bunch of scenarios that was painted to me. Kansas City, Green Bay, San Fran was where I thought I was going to go. And so it was a bunch of teams that Denver told me they were going to take me out if I was there. And so it was a lot of things that I'm hearing that I just was like, man, I don't know where I'm going to go. I'm just looking forward to it. I know I was going to go first round, but just didn't know where.
So, Rob, when we talk about these top 2 edge rushers and David Bailey and Arvell Reese, so I want to break down again with you as we've been doing for the past couple of weeks here. I'm curious on the top 30 visit stuff with David Bailey because the Jets have very publicly last minute canceled David Bailey's visit up there. They know Arvell Reese, and they did have him in the facility. For you, does that matter? Like, what was your process like with Denver before they picked you? And do you think it's significant or relevant, the fact that the Jets canceled their visit with David Bailey so late in the process?
I don't. You know, I didn't have a top 30 visit. I didn't visit Denver when I came out. So, you know, every team has a select a number of visits they can have. And so, you know, if you feel like you've done your due diligence on a certain player, you move on to another one. I mean, you got 7 rounds, undrafted guys that, you know, they want to try to look at. And so I had a bunch of workouts with Denver guys, and I met with them at the Combine, Senior Bowl. They came to my pro day. So I had a bunch of other visits with them. So I never went out there and sat down and met with them. Now, on the other hand, I met with, you know, Cleveland, New England, and Miami, a bunch of other teams that didn't take me. But the one team I did take me, I didn't go out there and meet with them. So, you know, it could just be something as simple as, man, we got all we need. We don't need nothing else. Let's go see if we can look at this 3rd-round prospect that, you know, we may be interested in. So I wouldn't put too much into it because a lot of times you don't visit with the team that takes you.
We're joined by Robert Ayers this morning, former first-round draft pick, Tennessee Vol, Denver Bronco, and just an all-around, all right guy. Never mind. No, I'm playing.
I don't want to be too good.
No, don't be too good. Because your group chat.
Keep my reputation.
Yeah, your group chat antics, let me know. Absolutely not, okay? With that being said, like you mentioned places that as a player, like you just happen to be picked. Trust me, I know that process as well. But like you mentioned like teams that brought you in that didn't select you. Could you tell on those visits the vibes of the teams like, oh, they just want intel on me? Or did you like feel like every team was serious?
I definitely felt like every team was serious. You know, I think I mentioned, you know, we had a 3-hour visit with one team where we just on the board forever. So, like, it's not like they're wasting your time. It's very detailed. You know, when they fly you in, when they pick you up, you know, they interview you in the Uber ride. Well, they didn't have Uber back then, but the chauffeur or the driver, you know, to the facility, they're interviewing. They ask you questions. What about your life? You know, tell me some more things about yourself. You know, I hear you're a good football player. You know, what do I need to know about Robert outside of the football player? What if I went back and asked your 6th grade middle school teacher, what type of person were you? Would they say you're a good person? So just crazy things where everybody's intentional about the time that they have with you. And, And so there was no wasted time, on these visits and stuff like that. Everything is detailed and straight to the point.
No doubt. So we're looking at this situation, the storylines that are coming out, like the top prospects, of course, in this top 10. Rob, like on today's day where it's got to happen in this draft night, how do you rank these guys, Arvell Reese, Sonny Styles, and David Bailey, just on the defensive side of things? How are you splitting hairs on these dudes on their selection?
I start with, what I'm looking for. I'm looking for production at the college level. I'm looking at do you check certain boxes? Are you arm length, speed, height, weight, all those things that can you do the things that are going to fit my scheme? What am I going to be asking you to do? Can you do that? I'm looking at importance to my team. If we were ranked 30th in the pass rush last year, okay, how can we improve that? If we got two backers that, were horrible or they left for free agent or whatever, okay, which one is more of a glaring need? And so, I got to look at that from a big picture standpoint if I'm whatever team I am. But for me, if I'm just looking at best players, I think it's Bailey, Reese, Styles. That's how I would rank them in that order. Bailey to me, is by far number one, and then Reese, and then Styles in that order.
Robert here is our guest, former Vol and former NFL first-round pick. When you look at the way defenses are played now, too, Rob, with so many of these double mug looks where you can walk up both of your inside linebackers to the line of scrimmage and ask them to do different things and be versatile and be unpredictable, how does Sonny Styles fit where defenses are headed in the NFL right now with his skill set?
In my opinion, with Sonny, I think that the thing that he does well, he plays in space. He's a converted safety. The on-the-line physicality stuff is something that I think he needs to improve on. He definitely can be a mismatch. The whole point of, all those mug looks and stuff like that is to isolate one-on-ones and to get matchups on running backs and things like that. You don't necessarily want him. He can beat guards and centers and stuff with quickness, but the whole point is you want those mugs, 2 3s, 2 9s, and they're going to go big on big, ID the mic or whatever. Hopefully you get full slides to your best players and get a matchup on the running backs. And that's something that he can do well. He can beat running backs. He can, cover in space. But I think he didn't have as much blitz productivity as some other guys in this draft. I think I mentioned it before. He doesn't have a lot of sacks. He doesn't have a lot of TFLs. He's not a downhill type of guy. He's more of a run and hit, keep him uncovered, unblocked. He'll go run you down. You look at some of the games, like the goal line play he had against, I think it was, I want to say Illinois, where he stopped the guy at the 1 yard line. He needs to be running and moving. So I think that's his strength for me. But man, when you look at a guy that big, that fast, you can only imagine how many different things you want to try to do with him.
Yeah.
But I think ultimately his safety background is something that has to be utilized with coverage in space. He's a guy that can get over on those tight ends and cover those guys and really, get out and run. So he can do a lot of things. And, blitzing is something that he'll have to continue to work on. And I'm pretty sure whatever team he goes to, they'll be looking to utilize him at that.
Rob, it's really interesting with Arvell Reese going on a podcast saying, I was just making stuff up out there with pass rush moves. And now he had about 95 blitzes this past season to get after the quarterback, and about 64 of them were from the edge rusher position. How long do you see it taking for him to learn counter moves and different rush moves? What will that process be like for him?
He's going to have to put in the work. I think with today's game, you see a lot of these pass rush specialists. Shout out to BT Jordan, one of the best doing it right now, if not the best. You see all these guys going to train with, man. So I think so the day he's drafted, he'll go to minicamp and all that stuff. I think he need to get in the lab with a guy like that and just really work on his game, right? Try to understand pass rush angles, attack points, get off, and understand the protections. How to attack chips, how to butch blocks for the running backs. All those things, he's going to see those things. So he got to really learn it. It's going to take repetitions. It's going to just take a lot of time. And but he got the skill set. He's a big, fast, physical dude. unfortunately, you know, when he say, you know, I was just making stuff up, you know, it's like, man, like we've been to draft you after not something exactly you want to hear when you drafting top 3,
Right.
top 4, top 5. Like, man, you don't know how to do nothing.
Yeah.
But you also go look at it like, man, we got a blank canvas. We could turn this into whatever we want to do. You know, that's not my. You know, I'm not a GM. That's not something I would look at. I want to see, you know, has this guy done what I'm going to be asking him to do? That's kind of how I approach it. But, I mean, he got all the tools. You just got to have a coach that's going to be, you know, locked into developing him and not just expecting him to go out there and just rush the passer and be productive, because people think that you could just go and just run around people. Man, there's an art to this, to pass rush, and there's a science behind it. And if you take it for granted, you know, you can waste a lot of top picks and a lot of good players. Because, you know, I was drafted to Denver. They had me dropping in the coverage for my first 2 years. And people are like, oh, you're a bust. I'm like, well, I'm covering these tight ends, though. so it's like, man, like, you got to have a coach. You know, that's no disrespect to my coach that I had, but that just wasn't. You know, I had Wink Martindale, amazing dude, man, great dude, but he didn't know nothing about rushing the passer, and he was a cover guy. And so if you're going to take Arvell Reese, and you got to have someone that's going to teach him the game, it's going to teach him the art, it's going to teach him, you know, what to do, what to see, where to go. And I think that's going to be big. If he gets a guy like, for example, Joe Cullen out of Kansas City, it's going to be crazy.
Yeah.
He's one of the best in it. If he goes somewhere where they're just like, hey, I was coaching the safeties last year, and I'm here to coach you. I don't know.
Yeah, fair.
I don't know.
That's fascinating. We don't talk enough about how bad coaches ruin guys' careers, man.
Oh man,
we'll have that conversation with you as well at some point. I got to ask you this one though, because you were on the staff, and I know we'll protect as much as you can say, but I feel like everybody's almost disrespecting Carnell Tate with how we speak about him. Rob, in that game against Ohio State, what was Carnell Tate versus Jeremiah Smith in that conversation? And why is he considered the top wide receiver when he doesn't have the catches, never been number one, and, you know, don't have the speed that you want to see from a top prospect?
I think it's that logo on his helmet.
Wow.
I mean,
yeah.
I think it's that logo on his helmet. When you kind of grow to expect, man, you know they're going to put out great ones. I mean, no player that they put out hasn't been a great player, from Chris Olave to, you know, every receiver they have has been good. You know, I was fortunate enough to be down in Tampa with and I don't want to butcher his name.
Mecca Ibuka.
Mecca Ibuka. I was down there with him. Man, he's a dog. He built like a running back. Man, he can do everything. He's a diligent worker. You know, but when we went against those guys in the bowl game, we were like, man, we got to stop Jeremiah and we got to stop Ibuka. You know, Tate was kind of like, yeah, we could deal with him one-on-one. I mean, he proved us wrong. he made some chances on us, but going into it, we were like, you know, all right, we can handle him. We just got to handle the other two. But and then I think this year he missed like 9 games. I mean, he only played like 9 games. And, you know, I look at the productivity, you know, I mean, when I look at a guy that's a receiver, you know, I want to see them dominate when you're taking them that high. I mean, he's never had 1,000 yards in his career. And, you know, they throw the ball a lot up there. And so, I mean, you look at that and I'm like, okay, he's 6'2", 6'3", or whatever it is, around like a 4'5". So he's not that Julio Jones type physicality. So, you know, that logo on his helmet is helping him a little bit. But, I mean, he's a real deal, man. You know, my mocks, I don't really see him. I don't see him as a top 10 guy, but everyone else does. So maybe I'm wrong, and we'll see. Hopefully the young man goes and prove me wrong. But, you know, it's interesting to look at his productivity and to look at everything he's done and say, man, you're the lock number one. I personally like Jordan Tyson. That's my number one receiver, but, you know, I'm no guru at this at all.
But you do have studied, and you were one of the first people I think that was countering everything that Mel Kiper and Todd McShay was saying. We were living together in college. You did your own mock and looked at theirs, and they were only like right at the like 4 out of 32. So you mentioned in a second ago, I got to ask you, what is your top 10 with how you've ranked these guys, if you have it?
Well, how, like my mock draft, or like how I view the players?
How you view the players, your top 10.
Oh, man. So I would say my number one player is Jeremiah Love. Position, regardless of position, I would say number one is Jeremiah Love. I think number 2 is Caleb Downs. Number 3, David Bailey I would say number 4, just because you gotta have a quarterback, in there. I would probably say, Fernando Mendoza is right there. I would say, let me think.
Mansour Delane, Arvell.
What is that? What is that, 5 I'm at right there? 5. Yeah. I'm looking at my mock right now. I'm trying to say 5. I would say 6 probably be, I would say Jordan Tyson, probably 6. I would say Francis, how you say his last name? Mawanoa is probably be 7. I would say 8 probably be Ruben Bain. Probably say 9. Probably go, did I say Arvell Reese yet?
No.
I'll probably say Arvell. And then probably 10 probably would be,
wow.
I'll probably say Kenyon Sadiq.
Really?
Probably my top 10 right there. Yeah.
Tight end.
No,
you got a lot of non-premium guys in there as far as the NFL considered. You went Caleb Downs, number 2?
Yeah, our best player. Now, I don't think he's going to be the number 2 pick. I think he's one of the best players. I don't think he's a number 2 pick. My mock is different. And my mock, I got Downs going number 10 to the Giants.
Okay.
Yeah.
But I think he's the second best player in the draft.
You're going to have to send us that because somebody just asked, what is your mock? We'll tweet it out for you.
I'll get it out for you.
All right, perfect. Sure.
Robert Ayers with us at Robert Ayers Jr., where you get him on Twitter, former Vol, former NFL edge rusher. Rob, you've made us smarter this whole draft process, man. We appreciate you.
Kind of threw me for a loop, too.
Man. I'm trying, man. I'm trying to educate y'all people on the mind of a Rob.
The mind of a Rob.
Hey, so we kind of established, I got you, and I call you Black Rob. Will got his friend. He calls him White Rob.
No, you call him White Rob.
I do call him White Rob.
The battle of the Rob.
I love it. Rob, we appreciate you, man. Thanks so much for the time.
Appreciate that, Rob.
Yeah, appreciate you guys.
No doubt. All right, there's Robert Ayers with us here this morning talking pre-draft.
You call him White.
I don't. He's got enough freckles. I don't have to call him White Rob.
Yeah. If you ain't got a nickname.
Not that everyone can have freckles.
Are we friends if you don't have a nickname?
He's just what I should say is my buddy Rob looks at the sun. He thinks about the sun and gets sunburned. I don't need to call him White Rob. He knows.
Oh, come on, White Rob.
All right, coming up, a different pick for the Titans. We're just giving you all the mocks here this morning. But I like the kind of analysts who give one mock draft and it just comes out today and that's it, the whole process. Albert Breer did that, and he's got an even different pick for the Titans that I'll give you coming up next.
Once a year in the spring, Genesis Diamonds does something incredible. It's a 3-day massive store-wide sale with savings up to 35%. And it's happening this Friday through Sunday. So go ahead and mark down your calendars, man. If you've been around here for a while, you know what a big deal this is. Exclusive jewelry designers fly in just for this with trunk loads of all new trendy designs, designer jewelry from New York and California. The staff at Genesis, they know they can break all the rules at this event. Big savings on rings, earrings, pendants, bands, bracelets, and just case after case of mind-blowing deals. During this event, you can also take advantage of extra discounts on natural diamonds and lab-grown diamonds as well. So you can build the ring of your dreams and save like never before. I'm talking about colored gemstones are included in this, designer fashion, and one-of-a-kind engagement ring mountings. This is a once-a-year spring store-wide sale with special financing available to you. 3 days, up to 35% off store-wide, because if you're getting engaged this year, celebrating a milestone, or just want to add some amazing jewelry to your collection, this is the sale you cannot miss. It's again this Friday, Saturday, and Sunday only, and only at Genesis Diamonds. They're located in Green Hills and Cool Springs.
This is a different court, Blair. Same result, Slay. Okay, Blair. See, that's Tyler Tanner. See, Tyler Tanner's in the house now.
Let's see what you got. Jerry's out, Blair.
Blair, come on. Okay, Blair, just come sit down. Come on, Blair, stop. You're going to get hurt. Blair, get off the court. That's enough.
What's the verdict, Blair?
The courtroom is where I play ball. Boy, Durham, injury law. And that ain't got no roof.
Wrapping up hour number 3, Ramon and Will on 104.5 The Zone. We'll give you the hottest nuggets out of the air fryer with Easton Freeze coming up at 9:20.
Nuggets out the air fryer?
Sure.
No, pizza rolls out the air fryer is hotter.
Mom made pizza rolls?
Every time. On a flat cookie sheet pan.
We haven't talked as much off sports stuff this week for obvious reasons because it is draft week, though. But I've started grilling this week.
Come on now.
Grilled my first New York strip steaks last night. A solid medium rare.
Come on now.
I'm cooking and me are good friends now. If you told me when I started hosting this show that I'd be out here grilling and cooking this much, I would have laughed at you.
Yeah, I mean, a good woman to do that to you as well. You know what I'm saying? Like,
fair enough.
That's part of that as well. Did you feel the testosterone shoot through your veins after you put them steaks on the grill?
I took a beer down there, my tongs, and I walked my 2 steaks down to the grill. It's like, that's
a good time.
This is the life. I could get used to this.
I mean, there'll be some boys doing that tonight.
I love it.
Watching the draft.
Absolutely
I know
right.
Bert and his gang rent a house somewhere across the United States.
Because I'm a big on the stove kind of guy. I'm a big, a little bit of olive oil, get it smoking, get the smoke detector going a little bit, smoke up the whole apartment and doing like steaks that way. But I finally grilled it. And I don't fear as much for the fire department coming by when I do it that way.
Can I brag just a little bit?
Sure.
Though? Just the spoils of my labor. So I'm redoing my backyard.
Yes.
I'm getting rid of the little waterfall waterwork back there. The wife's doing like a raised garden. Okay. Took care of her. You feel what I'm saying?
Of course.
Putting a retaining wall back there.
As you do.
And where the pergola is, we're going to extend that bad boy. We're going to put a roof on it.
Oh.
And we're going to mess around and do an outdoor kitchen is what I'm telling you. I'm speaking real low like this because I don't want Keisha to hear me too high.
Upgrade the back porch.
And then that's officially when you'll get the invite, okay, is what I'm telling you.
Okay.
Like, I know I've been promised we're going to do a cookout. We're going to do a cookout.
Well, to be fair, you've given me plenty of invites. We just can't get our Saturdays to link up because we both have a lot of extracurricular activities after school.
We got more jobs than dads on TV.
That's fair.
Okay?
It's very fair.
Than Terry Crews on his show. No doubt about it. But what I'm saying, everybody hate Chris. That's the show. But what I'm saying is this. When this outdoor kitchen get dead, with the fire pit over on the other side,
I love that.
We gonna have a ball.
How do you spell dead?
Dead. My country style come out from time to time.
Albert Breer this morning with a different pick for the Titans. Here's another member of that big five we've been talking about, who he has mocked to the Titans. What?
Duck in the chat sounds like 105 The Zone pay as well. This man got a pergola. Words but didn't know how to spell. I thought pergola was Purgela. Pergola. It's pergola.
Pergola.
Yeah, I would have lost the spelling, but you see, I feel like you just figured that out.
I don't know.
Exactly.
I didn't know about pergolas till I met you, so I didn't even know those were the thing.
Don't do that. We were good. Now you make it seem like I'm high society. I'm a lowly worker.
Albert Breer has Fernando Mendoza going 1. David Bailey momentum is heating back up for the Jets. David Bailey at 2 for Albert Breer at SI.com. This is his one and only mock draft he does through the whole process. At number 3, he has the Arizona Cardinals sticking and picking and selecting Notre Dame running back Jeremiah Love. Writing, I've heard Mike LaFleur and the new coaching staff love. And for ownership, getting a sellable star as they go through another reset would be good. As for GM Monty Ossenfort, while an offensive lineman might suit his sensibilities and right tackle's a big need, his history is to do the logical thing and take the best player. See, I don't think the logical thing for them is to take Jeremiah Love. He did it in 2023 with Paris Johnson Jr. He did it in 24 with Marvin Harrison Jr. He will do it here with Love. That leaves Arvell Reese or Sonny Styles. He's got Arvell Reese to the Titans at 4.
If that's the case.
Albert Breer. I think if Arvell Reese or David Bailey is available, that is the automatic pick. Turn it in.
Mm-hmm.
Says there's been a lot of debate internally on Reese and his teammate Sonny Styles. Albert Breer says, I do believe that Robert Saleh and his staff see Reese as someone who will change their defense. And as good as Styles is, GM Mike Bergonzi's Kansas City roots would have him lean to a player with the ability to play a premium position. And Reese has shown he can play off the edge as well as off the ball.
Wow. I mean, yeah, I think it's Reese if it's between the two. Because
I do too.
Only thing that bothers me about Reese is he had a big old jump in production as opposed to his previous 3 years there. Now, that also could mean he's barely tapped his potential. And that's all this draft is as well, is that big old P word and potential. And you got to ride with that because your job depends on it, and you don't want to miss out on that potential as well.
Sure.
And he played at a high rate.
Well, look at who he's playing behind. JT Tuimoloau and Jack Sawyer at both edge rusher positions on a national championship defense.
And captains and leaders. And
they're the closest thing to what Georgia and Alabama had for so many years, where they would replace a pro with a pro.
Next guy.
Who is just waiting their turn.
And there's probably a next guy next year.
Yep.
For Ohio State.
Sure will be.
What do you think about Rob's admission on the logo of Carnell Tate? You don't want to miss out on it.
I do think there's reason that logo carries so much weight at the wide receiver position.
It does.
The coaching staff and the system and just the overall training ground for Ohio State is second to none, maybe other than LSU, in terms of creating NFL-ready wide receivers. I mean, we thought Jackson Smith and Jigba was the worst of their receivers coming out, and now here he is winning a Super Bowl and being Offensive Player of the Year contender and candidate. And you have Emeka Ibuka, who is seen as a second-round talent up until the week of the draft last year. Then what does he do? Well, he is right up there with the best rookie wide receivers in the league last year as a mid to late first-round pick of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and is the reason why Tampa is okay with moving on from Mike Evans.
Exactly.
Club legend. So, yeah, there's a reason why that logo creates so many stars, because Brian Hartline and Ryan Day have developed pro-ready wide receivers.
I wonder, minus Brian Hartline, because he's FIU now? USF. What does that continue to look like? And will USF be a pipeline for those guys moving forward, too?
It could be.
Like a transfer portal group, like, hey, you go to Hartline.
Hartline's going to be a Power 4 coach sooner rather than later.
Easy work, right?
Yeah.
Easy work.
I don't think he's going to be. I guess USF, Alex Golish proved it. Like, they have enough resources and enough people who care about football down there.
He's getting some slander.
Go get you some players. He's a great recruiter.
Yeah.
By all accounts at Ohio State. He'll be there 2 years, then he'll be somewhere Power 4 pretty quickly, I think.
Easy.
Tristan's in Brentwood. What's up, Tristan?
What's up, Tristan? Good morning.
Hey, thank you for taking my call. I think all these draft analysts are crazy, because I did not like Reese pick or Styles or Jeremiah Love or Bailey. Bailey, I think, is a bust. Reese is not that great. Like, if you're just going to show a one-year wonder, and Styles, even though he had showed up on every tape, and got every tackle, didn't give up a single tackle. I think the best teams have win in the trenches, and last year Seattle, who won the Super Bowl, gave up 2 sacks, and our line, offensive line, hasn't been that great. So what do we need? We need offensive line help, and who should we go after for the number 4 overall pick, or trade down a tiny bit? Take a trade, get a few picks. You may not get number 1 for next year, but Viggy Ione, and we need a center, a true center. Pat Cogan, even though people say, oh, his footwork, he's lazy and or just he's slow and stuff, but he was incredible during the run to the national championship. And then get Mike Fields from Notre Dame, because he's 6'4", 220 pounds. Eli Sowers, maybe, or a tight end from SMU or Stanford, the guy that is from Nashville, and running back in the Nick Singletary, or one of the running backs, Allen from Penn State, number 33.
We appreciate it, Tristan. Thank you for the call.
Tristan, I'm here for it.
That's a lot of names. That's a lot of names for us to unpack,
Tristan.
So we'll get to it.
Yes.
Appreciate the call.
Yes, Tristan. Go big or go home. That's what Tristan is saying.
Where do I even start?
Everywhere. You start everywhere. You start at forward and offensive lineman. Francis, take him. You heard him. Big T is what you call in as now, Tristan. I'm here for that talk.
Let's say this though.
Hit me dead in my feels with that call.
Let's pick one of the things that he said out of the 17 100. Francis Maui Noah in a trade back. You down for that?
Easy. Yes.
Say the Saints wanted to come up at 8. You go Maui Noah at 8? Is that okay?
I got to figure out what I'm going to do with JC. I talked to one of my sources yesterday. It said Francis in person moves like a ballerina. Like he's a Ferrari moving. Like you feel him moving, is what I heard. I do believe there's a world in which he could move inside. I hate to discuss J.C. Latham moving inside, but like these are the things you have to decide if you're picking at 8 and try to decide. Or you can go wide receiver. Like I'm with Tristan on what he said. If he wanted to take an offensive line, it needs to be after 5.
I would rather take the top receiver if I'm going back.
That's what I was thinking. I mean,
in a perfect world, there would be a tackle that you could go get. Justin, what are you doing?
Said like a ballerina.
Justin's just spinning
on the chair.
Spinning back there. You're not even on camera. Who are you doing this for? Just us.
This crowd is.
He's going to put himself on camera now.
Titans fans are done with offensive line in the first round, though.
I would love it if there was a player worthy of that in the top 10 in this draft for the Titans based on what they need. I just don't see that player open for them to go get this year.
No.
I mean, if you went back to 12, all of a sudden we're talking about Vega Wane.
No doubt about it.
And Big Boss Burt wouldn't be happy about that because he feels like a Raven already in terms of who they're going to get because they need a guard. And that's, again, just classic Ravens going to get the really good player that is guaranteed to be good.
Why do you choose to hurt me?
I know. But if they're moving back, I think it's Carnell Tate or Jordan Tyson or Mekhi Lemon. Table loves a receiver who can run.
If Francis is there, Maui Noah, I think you could consider it. But I doubt it. They need skill.
Yep. Agreed. Hour 4 coming up. Jeremiah Love talked to Jim Wyatt. Hear from the guy who fans have really been wanting for quite some time after this. What's up? It's Will Bowling for my friends at Fleet Feet Nashville. Fleet Feet put me through their personalized shoe fitting, and I loved what I ended up with. Using their 3D foot scanning technology, they measure each foot's unique size, shape. They give you every possible detail that you could need to find the right shoes, but also the right inserts, the right fit for you. Whether you need something if you are working a lot and you're on your feet, maybe you're just a casual walker around the neighborhood, maybe you're running, maybe you're training for the marathon this upcoming weekend. Fleet Feet is more than just a running store. With their Middle Tennessee locations, it is a resource and a community for runners and walkers of all ages and experience levels. Saturday, you can go ahead by the On Fleet Feet Post Rock and Roll Race Celebration at Nudi's Honky Tonk on Broadway. They'll be there from 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. Go by and see them. That's just one of the many events they're putting on for the running community here in Middle Tennessee. I love Fleet Feet. I love their locally owned, and they walk you through this process so well. Multiple convenient locations. Check out Fleet Feet in Green Hills, Brentwood, Cool Springs, Hendersonville, Mount Juliet, and Murfreesboro, and online at fleetfeetnashville.com.
9:05, good morning, live from the Circus Sports at the Mid-Kentucky Downs studio. I'm Justin Hawkins. Tonight, the NFL Draft officially kicks off with round 1 in Pittsburgh. The Titans hold the 4th overall draft pick. Tune in to Titans radio's coverage tonight, starting at 6 o'clock right here on 104.5 The Zone. NFL news this morning, the Ravens are picking up the 5th-year option on wide receiver Zay Flowers, who's now under contract through 2027, where he'll earn just over $27 million. Flowers finished last season with career highs of 86 catches and 1,211 yards receiving. Also, the Cowboys are not negotiating a long-term deal with wide receiver George Pickens, as he will play on the franchise tag in 2026. NBA playoffs last night, the Pistons beat the Magic 98-83, tying the series up at 1 game apiece, ending the longest home losing streak in NBA playoff history at 11 games. And in the nightcap, the Thunder beat the Suns 120-107 to take a 2-0 series lead, led by Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, who had 37 points and 9 assists in the win. In the NHL playoffs last night, the Flyers beat the Penguins 5-2 to take a 3-0 series lead. The Stars beat the Wild 4-3 in overtime, taking a 2-1 series lead, and the Ducks beat the Oilers in the nightcap 6-4 to tie their series up at 1 game apiece. For all your foundation repair and waterproofing needs, you got to go to USSTN.com. Breaking news at once on your home for the Titans and Vols. This is 104.5 The Zone.
Fourth and final hour of the show on draft day. Ramon and Will, no matter what. 615-737-1045, the number. Who's the pick? Who do you want? Who do you think it's going to be? Easton Freeze may answer both those questions for us coming up here in 15 minutes. His reporting's been consistent. It's not Styles. We'll ask him about that. Coming up here in just a few minutes. Tonight at 6 o'clock until 9 on Titans Radio. Taylor Zarzer, Amy Wells, Rhett Bryan, Ramon Foster, and myself bring you pick-by-pick coverage of the NFL Draft. Tomorrow we'll be over at the facility doing the exact same for rounds 2 and 3. Again, from 6 p.m. to 9 p.m. 8 minutes per pick tonight means it is a faster process. Means that we're not going to be there quite as long talking through the first round tonight. Ramon should save everyone about an hour.
Wow.
Taking off 2 minutes for 32 picks. I'm no mathematician, but that's around 60 minutes.
You've been a draft watcher for a while, I
have.
assume.
And a draft listener on Titans Radio.
You remember when it was 15 and 20 minutes?
I do.
Why?
I do.
Why?
I don't know.
The shortening of time, though, I think it still goes to what the NFL is. And y'all know, like, I love the NFL. I love what it provides for us in the fall. But, like, them shortening up the time, all it does is let me know that they've sold more TV ads. Like, that's all it means to me. More revenue coming in.
Right.
This league is a monster, man.
So, a reminder for the 257 selections in the NFL Draft. 8 minutes per team in round 1, 7 minutes per team in round 2, 5 minutes per team in rounds 3 through 6, and 4 minutes per team in round 7, plus all compensatory picks. Honestly, the more you talk to people, they could make it 5 minutes for the whole draft, and it would be fine.
They know.
They absolutely know.
Because the other part of it is, though, too, and I was thinking, well, what about the transactions that got to happen? Those transactions are happening before the draft, during the pick selections, before they get to the trades. Those trades are negotiated, or at least they get a structure of it beforehand. I was thinking they needed more time to talk through the trade scenarios. No, they don't. Those deals are done.
Dipping my toe in the F&M Bank chat takes this morning. You've got draft Vega Awane. We won't give up sacks anymore. You've got I don't like Love because he had to split time at Notre Dame. Okay. What else do we have in here? We have Pavia should go to Denver. They would use him. Okay.
Curtis goes, Styles was a product of the combine?
Oh, okay. 182 tackles his last 2 seasons.
I hate to tell you this, but go watch the tape. Respectfully.
We had Love. People fell in love with Love at the combine. We got to Indy. I hadn't been in Indy for 24 hours. And all I heard was, that's the best player in the draft right there.
Everybody knew.
Indy is where I was convinced.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm curious if that's where the Titans were convinced as well. We'll find out.
I mean, let's go to the tape is one thing, but the performance of what you think they are is what the combine solidifies for you. Like, that's what it's all about. Rob Ayers in our last segment brought that up as well. It's like you do check the arms, the speed, the length, the injury history, and stuff like that. Okay, well, here we go another route then, Will. If it's all about praising guys and bigging them up, like this is what narratives are created, let's look at guys that get knocked because of the combine as well. It's both ends of it. Like, you got a Jamon McCoy in his medical situations right now that has been spoken about. Like, those happen.
With a bone plug.
You got Caleb Banks right now, and I think that they discovered he had an injury with his foot, or his foot got injured. Yeah. So, like, soon after the combine, like, the combine fits its purpose. You watch the tape, you evaluate them, you interview them, you talk to them. These metrics that they do somewhat solidify it. Let's just go to the other side of it as well. Like, Sonny Styles' older brother, the safety. Like Lorenzo Styles Jr.
Mm-hmm.
Like, he set the world on fire with his combine. It didn't push him up the charts as far as the ranking goes. He ran one of the fastest times and also came out of Ohio State as well. Like, let's give a little bit more nuance in what we're saying about this process, other than, oh, he just showed up at the combine. No. That's not the case, because there's so many guys now that choose not to run, choose not to do the 225, choose not to do on-field stuff, do not do any of those things.
Right.
Like, the combine fits its purpose. What it did for Jeremiah Love, Sonny Styles, anybody else in this process is let you know what you saw on tape was real.
Right. Commenter says that there is zero love for the best player in the draft. Caleb Downs is curious to me. 4 years of tape doesn't lie. I think the thing on Caleb Downs is, has he already maxed out?
That's a great question. His floor is super high.
The reason why there's not more talk on him is because physically, for the position he's going to play at the NFL against bigger, faster, stronger players, can he play the same kind of aggressive defense as a chess piece, Kyle Hamilton type guy at a much smaller size than Kyle Hamilton?
Yeah, okay.
What?
I'm hearing noise through the doggone walls.
Somebody's
right now.
playing music
It's
too loud in
crazy.
the building or something.
Get my headphones back. Yeah, but yeah, you're right.
That's the question on Caleb Downs. Because again, like, if you want to argue he's got the best tape of anybody in this class, I'm not going to really have an argument against you. He is up there with Jeremiah Love and Sonny Styles, but he's got more of it from Alabama to Ohio State. The question is, can he replicate that with the size that he is at the next level? Has he already maxed out? We get obsessed in the NFL draft process with projectability and with ceilings, and Caleb Downs does not have the same ceiling as Arvell Reese and Sonny Styles and Jeremiah Love, despite the fact that he may have a similarly high floor to those guys as well.
Yeah, and that's the thing about it, though, too. Like, as far as getting those first round draft picks, let's just stick with Caleb Downs if you want to as well. Like,
sure. Who I think goes 5 to the Giants.
That's what I'm saying. Like, he's a top 10 selection at this point. Like, the idea is these guys that you're picking in the top 10 in the first round, they need to be your cornerstone and guys that immediately have an impact. That's just the way the league is set. Like, if that is, Will, when it comes down to Caleb Downs, his floor, his ceiling being that high, then that also means that his production should translate right over into the NFL. There's nothing wrong with that. Of saying, man, you're really good at your job, and you've been this way since your rookie year. There's a level of consistency along with that as well, and you know what you're going to get from that player, play in and play out. Like, I'd much rather live that life with just saying, yeah, give me the best of what you are and continue that in the NFL, instead of being, to be quite honest with you, somewhat iffy about, well, will Arvell Reese be the rusher that we wanted to? Can David Bailey grow and be better as well? So there's just a lot of that kind of goes into this process. Like Clay Matthews, I'm looking at the 2009 draft. He was picked 26 to Green Bay. Like, looking at him, like, I think you knew what his floor was, and he lived up to it. There's nothing wrong with that.
And for some teams, that matters.
There's nothing wrong with that.
I think for the New York Giants right now, for a head coach and John Harbaugh, who just had Kyle Hamilton, that's probably what they want. They want their new Kyle Hamilton, or they may want their new Roquan Smith in New York with Sonny Styles. I think it's one of those two guys if Jeremiah Love isn't there. Because I think that's the floor for Jeremiah Love is 5 to the Giants.
Yeah, I agree.
Jeremiah Love spoke to Jim Wyatt yesterday up in Pittsburgh as well.
I had a great visit, with the Titans. Their whole coaching staff is great. Their ownership is great. And just the facility itself is getting redone, but great vibes in the facility, Got to meet Cam Ward. Cam Ward's a great guy, great quarterback. So if I was able to team up with him, it would be great. It would be something special.
How much you know about the history of the position there?
The running back position?
Right.
I know Derrick Henry was there. I know he did some great things. So I've always known the Titans to have good running backs. So if I have to get drafted there, I will continue that legacy. I have no idea where I'm going. But there's a lot of talk about me going to the Cardinals, Titans, Giants. Honestly, I'd be blessed to go anywhere, bring my talents anywhere, it'd be real special for my family. And whatever team I go to, I'm going to make them better. Hey, it's going to be, I don't know, man. It's just going to have to happen. I think it's going to be a great moment, a moment that, you just can't fathom until it happens. Really looking forward to it. I hope that the commissioner can do my little love sign. So bring the love to whatever city I'm going to.
Jeremiah Love, featuring the sounds of a loud music behind him.
Loud music, baby. I'm here for it.
Is he going to become a Titan tonight? Easton Freeze joins us to talk about it coming up next.
It's Ramon and Will here for Window Nation, y'all. Spring is here. It is sprung. It is a great time to open up your windows. But I got a question for you. What if your windows don't open easy, okay? Or they've been leaking if you watch water pour in, that cold air come underneath it, or broken even, or you just continue to put layer of paint over them? Guess what? The pros at Window Nation, they can help you get new energy-efficient windows, Will, at a great price.
And Ramon, they got a sale for the people right now as well. With Window Nation's The More You Buy, The More You Save sale going on now. You could save up to 50% off all the windows for your home. You can get them with 0% interest financing for 5 years. Window Nation has over 45,000 five-star reviews, a 96% customer satisfaction rating. You can check them out online at windownation.com. Take advantage of The More You Buy, The More You Save sale going on now. Get up to 50% off all the windows for your home online at windownation.com. Ramon Will, Hour 4, Draft Day edition. Ramon Foster and Will Bowling taking the draft nuggets out of the air fryer with our good friend Easton Freeze of A to Z Sports. Easton, who very famously in Jim Wyatt's mega mock draft is batting 750 on Jim Wyatt's mega mock draft. Easton, how are we doing?
Very famously.
Yes.
Very famously. It's the best thing I have going for me. It's all that matters. And if today that batting average changes and I fall back to the crowd, McQueen is fading. It's going to be tough. It's going to be tough for me.
Based on the intel, based on the tea leaves, based on what we know, Easton, gun to your head, who's the pick tonight?
Jeremiah Love. Running back, Notre Dame. Don't know if y'all have heard about him. He's going to be fun to watch. I don't know if he's the greatest process choice for the fourth overall pick in general, but it's a weird class.
So what leads you to that conclusion? In this world, are you banking on Arizona getting out of the third pick and making a deal, or Arizona having their bluff called and taking the top edge rusher on the board?
I wouldn't call it banking. I wouldn't lock that in.
Fair enough.
But I do expect Arizona to get out of that pick. I think somebody else, the Chiefs, the Saints, who knows? I think someone else will make the third pick tonight. And I think that the groundwork for that might already have been laid. I think it might already even be agreed to. We'll see. So I think whoever is there doing the picking, I still feel relatively good about the second and the third picks being the two edge rushers, which, as I've kind of stuck to my guns on since the owners' meetings, the Titans want one of those guys to fall because they would like to take them. They would also like the leverage for a potential trade out because I think their appetite to trade from 4 and from 35 is very healthy this weekend. Just like fact, the Titans would like to add additional top 100 draft capital this weekend. They would. That's 100% true. But if those guys aren't there at 4, I do think it'll be Jeremiah Love. And you guys know that I have stuck my neck out on the Sonny Styles smoke being smoke. And if I'm wrong, it's tough. If I die, I die. It is what it is. But I really don't think that he's the guy.
So based off that, Easton Freeze, A to Z Sports with us, based off of the smoke that you are calling smoke and not fire, with Sonny Styles being the 4th overall pick, where does that come from then? What do the Titans gain from Sonny Styles to Tennessee being the narrative out there from the likes of Peter Schrager and Daniel Jeremiah and the national folks who are starting to say that that's their pick for the Titans at 4?
They gain chaos. That's the game theory of this. Even if I'm wrong, the game theory still makes sense. That the assumption I think everybody in this draft is working under is nobody's trading up for the running back. As much as everybody loves Jeremiah Love, he does not have real trade up value. The last time anyone traded up into the top 10 for running back was, I believe, before I was born. So it's been a long time. Ricky Williams, I believe. So I could be wrong about it. Fact check me on that. It's been a very long time.
99 was Ricky Williams, yeah.
Okay, yeah. So the year I was born. I don't think that anyone's doing that for Sonny Styles either, if I'm being totally honest. But people have. I think 2019 was the last time somebody traded up in this range for a linebacker. So it's happened more recently. And even though I don't think that I would do it, there are some teams out there we know who really love Sonny Styles, like the Cowboys, for example. I don't think they're alone. I think the Titans are just throwing anything at the wall that can stick in terms of making it sound like they would like to take somebody that someone else might trade for. So that's why you've heard Sonny Styles a ton. It's why you've heard the edge rushers more than just this week, right? Just in general, they'd love for one of those guys to be there. It's why yesterday, all of a sudden, Dan Graziano in the 11th and the 11 and a half hour is like, oh, wide receiver for the Titans at 4, which, what does that tell you about what's going on here? So I think that's all indicative of their appetite to trade.
No doubt about it. We're joined by Easton Freeze, A to Z Sports this morning. Easton, it's hard to believe 99 is like an older person right now. That's wild to me. I'm Unk status for sure now.
Yeah, that's tough. I'm sorry about that.
No, it's not you. And 40s
you
are
were
awesome.
shook on that.
I was shook by that, man. Let me go back to being a pro here, okay? Easton, you said that the Titans would much rather move back if they could out of 4 and 35. So, Easton, like, legitimately, what is, if you know or have a lead on it, the plan of this Titans, leadership that they have right now on Mike Borgons and Robert Saleh? Is it more patience and just literally building it up? Because I think everybody look at this 4th overall pick and scream love.
Yeah, I don't know where that line is in terms of how much they like those guys at 4 versus how much they would like to trade. It's not like Cam Ward last year where Mike Borgonzi told us the truth that when you think you have the quarterback, you take the quarterback, you turn all trades down. It's not like that with any of these prospects, but I don't know where that line in the sand is of we like these guys enough to pass on a trade. Here's what I will say. We look at last year's class and how both of their day 2 picks after they made a trade to add top 100 capital were on defenders who were more 2 to 3 year timeline guys than first year impact players. And I'm not saying for sure the Titans are going to emphasize tonight and tomorrow guys that aren't first year impact players. Like I think their first round pick will be obviously a first year impact player. But once we move on from this first round pick, I won't be surprised if they take some guys that are longer runway. We're going to maximize the rookie contract more so than maximize their rookie year. And we could sit here for the next 30 minutes and talk about who those kinds of guys are. But I think what they did in free agency kind of sets them up to do that, where they have added impact players now who may very well be on, 1 or 2, maybe 3 year timelines. That we understand free agents, like the average free agency timeline with the team is usually 2 years, and then there's a team out and things change quickly. And so I think those are the guys that are going to kind of raise the floor. And the expectation from leadership this year for the team is take a step, must take a step. The way that it's been framed once to me a couple of weeks ago that stuck with me, I think this is the right way to look at it. This front office cannot afford to go into the trade deadline again already being out of the playoffs. Like that's the bar. Is don't be out of the running for the playoffs by the trade deadline, by Halloween. Win 6 or 7 or 8 games and be competitive in half of the weekends and show some clear growth. I don't think it's some massive bar where it's like, if these guys aren't playing meaningful games at Christmas, I don't think it's that. But it is, hey, no more 3-win seasons, fellas.
Yeah, gotcha. Okay, and so if it is running back or a defensive player, I feel like the balance has to go offense because there's questions on the right side. I'll go center and guard for this team. I think Austin Sloman, the way I think he's paid out, is probably the first stab at starting center. But what do they do about the guard position for this team? Do you see them taking one of those second, third round guys to kind of fill that role? To your point about, hey, we're on a long runway. This is a big plane that we need a long way to get up.
Yeah, I would bet a lot of my own money that of their first 4 picks, one of them is a potential starter at one of those positions. I think that they're going to be eyeing that second tier of guard around the first, second round turn at pick 35. We talk about Chase DeSantis and Emmanuel Pregnon and Keelan Rutledge. Those 3 guys, I'm very curious to see where that group starts to come off the board. Does that run start tonight at the end of the first round? I could see it happening. I could also see 2 or maybe even all 3 of them still being there at 35 and those guys going more in the 30s to 40s. I think that, we know that the Titans had DeSantis in for a 30 visit. I think that they're poking around on all 3 of those guys. And my final mock draft that went live at AZsports.com like 7 minutes ago has them taking one of those guys in the second round. I also know that they have poked around a lot on the strength of the center draft classes in that 3rd to 4th round turn, right? And so there's like 5 guys right there that they have done some work on, and you could see, Logan Jones is the most popular answer to mock to the Titans in that range, but there are a handful of guys right there that would make a lot of sense. So I wouldn't be surprised if they came out of the first 4 rounds having taken a guard at 2 and a center prospect at 3 or 4, and they've got 2 potential starting linemen in their first 4 picks. Yeah. But I think they'll do at least one of those things.
Gotcha. Easton Freeze of A to Z Sports with us. Easton, who is the player who gets drafted tonight that makes us all collectively go, that guy got drafted how high?
Oh, that's a great question. I still think that the Ty Simpson situation is interesting. And that's one of 2 draft bets that I've actually placed myself, that his over under was at like 24.5. And I think that he'll go before the 24th pick.
I'm with you.
He could go in the teens. I think he's just that every year there's some guy that we're just surprised by. And Even though I personally disagree a little bit, that wouldn't surprise me. There's also like some guys that could sneak into the end of the first round that are just kind of off the wall. Like Traden Stukes is a guy that I haven't talked to a single person all draft cycle in a building that is not head over heels in love with Traden Stukes. Yes, he's an older player, but he can cover anybody anywhere. He has experience outside, inside, and at safety. He's probably a nickel safety at the next level, but I wouldn't be surprised if because he's been getting mocked in like the third round for most of the spring. Sure. And he may sneak into the first round tonight.
Who is the player, Easton, at 35 who forces the Titans to stick and pick? There's a world where they trade back into the 40s, kind of like last year. They pick up another 3. They could address more needs. But for you, for tomorrow night, who's that guy that they could not live without if he's there in the top of the second round?
Man, that's a good question. If any of those tier 2 receivers are there, I think it's going to be really tough. I'll be pretty surprised if they are. We know that they've poked around on Casey Concepcion and Omar Cooper. Denzel Boston is my guy, and I would love him there at 35. I don't know where they're at on Chris Bell. He fits firmly into that group of guys that, that would show that they're willing to be patient with some guys, but I think that he is an immense talent, and somebody's going to get a steal on him tomorrow evening. So if one of those guys is somehow there, maybe the trenches run in the 20s is a lot heavier and earlier than we think. And all of the top tackles and edges are coming off, and teams are being forced to focus on that before they are a receiver. And that pushes guys down. I think that could force their hand. And then I'll circle back to the guard thing. I don't know how they have Besantis, Pregnon, and Rutledge stacked. But if they have one of those guys as a true outlier, is like, we love this guy above the other two, and he is there, I think it'll be really tough for them to pass.
We're joined by Easton Freeze, A to Z Sports this morning. When you look at just the pre-draft, I'm talking about early January conversation about Ruben Bain and how that's kind of shifted from his storylines, but also just no conversation around the Titans. What have you learned about Saleh and I guess this team with what they like and value defensively, because he's come quickly off the board for the Titans?
Yeah, I think about what he told us at the owners' meetings a couple of weeks ago. One, that, and I don't think his evaluation is all about the story that came out in the past couple of days, but Robert Saleh told us then that there have been times in his past that they have had guys with flags on them that they have overlooked for the talent, and almost always regretted that. And they want no nonsense. They want no drama. And he seemed pretty firm on that. And we know Mike Borgonzi is that way. And he's like, let's draft a bunch of team captains kind of guy. So I wouldn't be surprised if that's a part of it. I really do think, and they would never admit that, but I think that that's a part of it. More importantly, I'd say, is the fact that Robert Saleh's entire career has been all about length and speed. And Ruben Bain is a fantastic football player, but he is the opposite of length and speed. He is power and violence, maybe, is the right way to describe him. And so I just don't know how he would fit on this line. Now, don't get me wrong. I talked about the Titans' appetite for trading back. They could trade back and take Ruben Bain tonight. It's not off the board. It's not. He's just not going to be the guy at 4. And I think that the prototype of player that they're looking for to kind of complete that front 4 right now is a big reason why.
Easton, I don't think we've asked anybody this question that does insider work like yourself, man. Going into this draft, there's always a lot of, I guess, restraint from the fan base and how they view what this team is capable of. Let's just put it right there from a fan's perspective. Easton, I have to ask you, is this front office and how they are doing things trustworthy moving forward, if that makes sense? Whatever decisions that they make tonight, you feel like in your, experience being around them and what they've done, that this is a true set the floor, build up of sustainability for the Tennessee Titans moving forward? Because this fan base is, I would probably say, is tired of the repeat rents and, everything else that comes with it.
Well, we're going to get a lot of evidence to either support or quash this theory in the next 36 hours. But I do think that they're trustworthy. And the thing about Mike Borgonzi that makes me trust his process, beyond just the fact that so far he's not given any of us a big reason to be like, oh, what a swing and a miss for Borgonzi. It's been relatively short though. So if he sticks around long enough, we know how it goes. He will have some massive failure. That's the nature of the role. You can't avoid that. Even the best of all time are still batting 70% or whatever. What makes me confident in him is there's no fluff with Mike. He is somebody that is deeply process oriented. He leans on his fundamentals. I think he has the right stuff mentally when it comes to fading the noise, resisting urges, and no matter what he does, controversial or popular, it is all backed by his larger plan. He doesn't stray from the larger plan and the vision that I think he spent a lot of time focusing on. So there's no flying by the seat of your pants with this guy, and that's what gives me confidence in what he's doing.
He is Easton Freeze, A to Z Sports, A to Z Sports.com. You mentioned the mock draft that just dropped this morning. Real quick on the way out, you mentioned the one bet on Ty Simpson. What's the other wager you've got tonight?
Jeremiah 11-4.
There you go. He is Easton Freeze joining us this morning, bringing us the latest nuggets. Thank you, Easton. Appreciate you.
See you guys.
All right. There's Easton Freeze with us here this morning. Final call for phone calls on tonight's draft, 615-737-1045, and a breaking story on former Vol James Pierce Jr. that will hit after this. Ramon Will getting you on your way out. Buck Rising show on deck. Cover 2 with Blaine and Zach and 3HL. Again, a reminder, Titans radio coverage begins at 6 p.m. tonight with Taylor Zarzer, Amy Wells, Rhett Bryan, who's killed so many trees with his binder that is full of good nuggets, Ramon Foster, and myself. We are pumped. I am so excited to be a part of Titans radio draft coverage for the first time.
Man,
cannot wait.
Welcome,
Thank you,
good brother.
Thank you.
Gonna be a good time.
Very excited.
Yeah, it's a show. All 32 teams, I think, do it except for the host city. But yeah,
let's go to Matt in Shelbyville. Final call on the phone. What up, Matt?
What up, Matt?
Hey, what's going on, guys? Well, I got two things.
Okay.
One, I remember when the GM from New England came after those Super Bowls. Everybody put all the trust and faith and hope, and we all know how that went. So now I think you're doing the same thing. This is a show me state, a show me game. It's not what you've done; it's what you have to do at this moment in time. But I just think that Morganzi is going to have to show that his worth, because you just can't give everybody a pass. How many years? Because they drafted average at best for the last 4 years.
How many of those was Mike Morganzi a part of, Matt?
No. What, two? One.
One.
Maybe.
One. Was last year average to you?
What I'm saying is when he took this job, you're either going to have to give him some time or you're going to have to demand success immediately. And that's just not him. That's your scout team. That's the whole process in itself. And over the years, they haven't proven that it's working. But that's here nor there. But with Jeremiah Love, I hope that they don't pick Jeremiah Love, because they need to work on their defense, because the score got separated every game last season. That means their defense wasn't holding up. Well.
Thank you, Matt. We appreciate the call. We're going to keep moving here at the end of the show, but thank you for the call.
I love it when he calls in, straight up.
That is a genuine argument on Jeremiah Love. You don't get to use Jeremiah Love as much in the run game if the score is separated. What I would also say, though, is that, A, he can help you as a pass catcher, would be my rebuttal. He's not taken out of the game just because you're down the way Derrick Henry was at times late in his tenure as a Tennessee Titan. And B, you don't want the score to be separated. Score more points.
Score more points.
That simple.
I will say this, you need Matt to be a part of the fan base. He plays it.
The skeptic.
Yeah. No.
I respect it.
It's fair because he's like,
he's consistent.
It ain't no in Borgonzi we trust. And I respect that side of his thought. It's just that you got to fully, dive into how you want this thing to roll, though, Matt, is what I will tell you, too, because every single GM job from Howie Roseman all the way to Mike Borgonzi deals with this. I think everybody's high on Jacksonville Jaguars' new GM.
James Gladstone. Who looks younger than me, and that's saying something.
They're so high on him, aren't they?
Mm-hmm.
He still got to prove it too, Matt, is what I'm saying. So you're not wrong in your thought. I just want to know what's going to be your conversation if they do make it to the playoffs or something like that. When you live that life, though, is the only thing I say, like, what satisfies that fan? That's the only question I have.
And that's a bigger conversation for the whole summer.
It is.
Once this team is put together, what will satisfy you as a Titans fan? What will the expectations be? Critical part of the team building process, and whoever they get in this draft helps set the expectation. And they may go for more long-term projects if they believe that those are the best players the way their board speaks to them.
Mm-hmm.
They may also go for more ready now players like Jeremiah Love, who could allow them to compete a bit more in the AFC South. I think that remains to be seen, but I do think it's an interesting process because Mike Borgonzi and Robert Saleh are jumping onto a treadmill of a rebuild that was already moving. How much grace are you, the fan, willing to give them to get up to speed or to immediately start sprinting at how fast the rebuild is already happening? Because I don't believe you can hold Mike Borgonzi accountable for the mistakes of his predecessors. Right. But the fan base was here for that.
Yeah, that's true.
The fan base has already been patient.
That's true.
It's hard to be told to be more patient. And I get both sides of it. I understand the Mike Borgonzi side and the Chad Brinker side that will say, hey, we need time to do our thing. I also understand the fan that was like, nah, but we've been told that before. We've been waiting for y'all to do your thing. And we haven't seen the results yet. This draft could be instrumental in being the spark that lights the flame.
No doubt.
If you get a playmaker like Jeremiah Love who can help your quarterback, if you get a pass rusher that unlocks this defense and allows corners that you spend a lot of money on to have a lot more help and not have to cover very long because David Bailey and Jeffrey Simmons are having a picnic in the backfield. If it's Sonny Styles who can disguise everything on defense and get after the quarterback himself, if it's Carnell Tate, there are good options tonight, Ramon. There are really, really good options. And I don't think there's a disaster waiting for whoever it could be. I don't think there's a major bust waiting for the options that they have. I think they're in a really good spot.
I agree with you.
Really good spot.
Yeah.
Some news on James Pierce this morning. How about this for a news dump? On draft day, as I effort the exact details on this that I'll pull up right now. This is from Andy Slater, who reports that Falcons edge James Pierce and former Vol will have all charges dismissed if he completes a program offered to him by the state of Florida. He would have to attend therapy sessions and stay out of trouble over a 6-month period. Wow.
I had one of my sources told me they knew this a month ago she was going to drop him, the charges. And I also had another source of mine around it said that God take care of babies and fools. Like, because he's not supposed to get out of this one. Not that I don't want him to, but the issues were very serious.
And it becomes even more serious for the league when things are on camera.
Oh, my boy.
It's one thing to break the law. It's another thing for that image to follow you.
You want to talk,
whether fair or unfair.
Yeah, you want to talk about a crisis team, though? Atlanta said nothing. James said nothing. Rakia said nothing. And you know what they did? They went and broke a deal, and they dropped it the day of the draft. Talk about a crisis team.
That's the news dump of all news dumps right there.
That is a masterclass.
Yeah.
Here's what I'll also tell you, people that point the finger at people that getting in trouble, that got issues. One thing in sports that I have learned, if you got talent or skill, they going to find a way.
Yeah, that's right.
It's a beautiful game with a dirty business behind it. And, man, I can't believe this one.
6 o'clock tonight, Titans Radio draft coverage with Ramon and myself, with Taylor Zarzer, Amy Wells, and Rhett Bryan until 9 o'clock. We'll talk to the pick, and you'll hear that tomorrow morning here on the show as well. Enjoy draft night. It's so fun. We hit the finish line. Don't let anybody, including the guy that's about to walk in here and do a show, try to talk you down out of enjoying tonight. Draft day is one of the best days. Merry NFL Christmas. We'll talk to you tomorrow morning and later tonight on Titans Radio.
But remember this, your Twitter fingers and your mic is always hot.